4th down and 6. Old Bridge gotta have it. Shotgun formation. Nugent, a lot of time. Rolls out. He's running out of space. Will roll the other way. They look, corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead. And the Props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Motion man is Simmons. Trotman throwing towards Simmons down the field, and he makes the catch in traffic for a Bearcats touchdown.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in. Here's Yoxie. Yoxie to the backhand. Trying to go to the front. Makes the move and shot. And he scores!
And Gracie comes set and delivers. And that's it on the ground to second. Throw to first in time, and the ball game is over. South Shore survives a late scare, and they are the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball champions. Live from Borough Hall Football Field in Sayreville, New Jersey, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of Old Bridge Knights playoff football. Tonight, the number 3 seeded Knights hit the road for the first time during the 2025 postseason as they take on the number 2 seeded Bombers of Sayreville War Memorial High School in the NJS IAA Central Jersey Group 5 semifinal round. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman alongside Nicholas Bavona on the call. And Nick, this Knights team played some of the best offensive football we saw from the team all season during the final 2 weeks before the playoffs. The defense has been phenomenal all season as well, and both units were tested in a big way against Freehold Township last week. After seeing a 14-point second-half lead disappear in a matter of seconds, the Knights bounced back to take the win over the Patriots and advance into tonight's semifinal matchup with Sayreville. First and foremost, what stood out to you about what the Knights were able to do in the victory last week?
Well, first and foremost, Joe, can you feel the electricity in the building tonight, or here outside here at Sayreville? A great matchup, a great atmosphere for this matchup here tonight between two 9-1 teams. But going back to your original question, what stood out to me the most in that game last week? You have to look at what Old Bridge did in the ground game in that one. It was huge and crucial to their victory, especially the performance of their star quarterback, Brody Nugent. We've talked about it so many times, how vital he is to this offense. A career high last week, 309 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns for Nugent on the ground as their starting quarterback. Chase Rizzo added another 78 yards and a rushing touchdown as well. And the biggest thing for the Knights that they're going to need to have going into this game tonight, Joe, which we'll talk about in a little bit, their rush defense was really good last week, only allowing just 22 total rushing yards in that win. But as we know, this Sayreville team is a very run-heavy offense, so they're going to need to carry that momentum in the run defense here tonight.
To your first point, Nick, about Brody Nugent, not only a season-defining performance for him last week, but potentially a career-defining performance for Brody Nugent. His best effort ever, as you mentioned, and a truly incredible game to watch for him last week. And you said it, Nick, this Knights defense is going to be tested against the ground game tonight. No question about that against Sayreville. And speaking of the Knights defense, they got off to a good start in the game last week against the Patriots, forcing a 3-and-out on the opening drive and another freehold punt on drive number 2. From there, the Patriots went on to do something that no other team has done against the Knights all season, scoring over 30 points in the 38-31 loss to Old Bridge last week. When it mattered most, the Knights defense came up with a 4th down stop late in the game, but it seemed as if the Patriots offense began to figure things out against this Old Bridge defense as the game went on last week. What worked for the Freehold offense, and do you expect any adjustments from the Knights defensively based on what you saw last week?
Well, basically what we saw from Freehold, what they did last week, Joe, is they were able to get some big plays in the passing game. We'll check later on during the highlight package, but they were able to take advantage of some deep pass plays down the sideline and expose that Old Bridge secondary. So if you're the Knights defense, that's a bit concerning. However, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be facing more of a run-heavy offense here tonight in Sayreville. They like to run the football a lot, so I'm not expecting too many adjustments in terms of the passing game. Their run defense, of course, will have to adjust in a little bit in terms of that way. But don't be surprised if Sayreville maybe tries to throw out some trick plays, maybe some play action that we saw the Knights struggle against earlier on in the season. So maybe that could be something to look out for in this game here tonight.
We'll certainly have our eye on that this evening. And finally, let's talk a bit more about this Old Bridge offense and what they did last week. The Knights scored 35 or more for the 6th time this season in the win over the Patriots, and were able to put together the go-ahead scoring drive in the second half. Brody Nugent rushed for 4 touchdowns, and it might be the most impressive effort we've seen from him as a rusher. I think it certainly was a career-defining effort, as I mentioned before, and that's really saying a lot given what we've seen from him. But not to be lost in that game is the play of the Old Bridge offensive line and all of the playmakers on this offense that have made it so that defenses cannot lock in specifically on stopping Nugent from running the football.
And, Joe, you can make the case that these are the top 2 offensive lines in all of New Jersey playing here tonight with the way these two teams have been able to run the football this season. And last week we saw it. We mentioned it during the broadcast against Colonia a couple weeks ago before last week's game, but Old Bridge was able to win the battle of the trenches a lot in that game against the Patriots, and they kept it going against Freehold as well. And now you go into this game tonight where you're facing a team that is also very run synonymous as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these two offensive lines do tonight in terms of trying to keep that running game going and in terms of what these defenses can do to try to adjust to stopping the run over the course of time.
And shifting our focus to the Bombers, this is a team that, just like the Knights, lost only once during the regular season. They also had 3 opponents in common with Old Bridge in Colonia, Edison, and Piscataway. Most notably, they knocked off the Chiefs, the lone team that has beaten Old Bridge this season. In their quarterfinal playoff game last week, they won big over Trenton, 36-0. Tell us a bit more about this Sayreville team, and what are some of your expectations entering tonight's matchup? We already spoke about one thing. The Knights should expect a steady dose of the ground game.
Well, you'll see it right here, of course, on your screen. They play in the Big Central National Silver Division, 4-0 mark in that division, 9-1 overall in the season. 3rd semifinal appearance in the last 5 years. They have met Old Bridge 6 times in the last 10 years, 3-3 split in those marks. And versus common opponents in 2025, they are 3-0. Old Bridge is 2-1. And as we mentioned also, Joe, that running game for Sayreville has been huge this season. None bigger than Sean Jackson. Last week, 18 carries, 111 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. And on the season, 180 carries, 1,761 yards rushing, 22 rushing touchdowns, averaging 9.78 yards a carry. And not to be done as well, he also has a passing touchdown and 4 receiving touchdowns on the season. This Sayreville team in total, 359 attempts on the air, 3,063 rushing yards, and it's a team they have gotten 37 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Definitely going to be a tall task for this Old Bridge defense tonight, slowing down the run game for Sayreville. And looking at the stats for this Sayreville squad, you can't help but notice those huge numbers that you mentioned for Sean Jackson on the ground. Nearly 1,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, as you mentioned, Nick, and over 3,000 yards rushing for this team collectively. Another number that stands out to me offensively is that the team has attempted just 67 passes on the season. Knowing all of this, there's certainly going to be a lot of pressure on the Old Bridge defense to slow down the rushing attack of the Bombers. And in their one loss this year against Piscataway, it was the ground game of the Chiefs that gave the Knights some trouble. If the Knights can slow down the run, who are some of the other Sayreville playmakers that this Knights defense will need to slow down tonight?
Well, first off, Joe, I'm expecting a high-paced game where I think for both of these teams, you can't really miss on not scoring on possessions. If you miss up on one of your possessions, that could be the dagger in this game. This could be a game where teams go back and forth, trading punches and scoring over the time being. So a lot of clock will be chewed because of the 2 ground games, and that might lead to these defenses having to capitalize and getting a stop. Now, in terms of that question you asked about the other playmakers for this Sayreville team, you look at Andrew Provenza, Dion Osei, and Sherwin Appiah. You have Provenza, who does play a little bit of quarterback as well. 11 catches on the season, 185 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Osei has 54 yards attempts, 517 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. And Sherwin Appiah, 55 attempts, 363 on the ground, and 8 rushing touchdowns. So Jackson does most of the workload in terms of running the ball this season, but they do have other capable playmakers in that ground game to get them some extra yardage. So they don't necessarily have to rely on him too heavy when it comes to the ground game, but you got to believe that not only him, but the rest of those running backs, as well as maybe getting some plays through the passing area, could lead to this Sayreville team trying to put up a lot of points here tonight.
We will take a break right here for a message from some of the great sponsors of Old Bridge Knights football. Our pregame coverage continues, and we come back here on the PDF Sports Network.
Celebrating 65 years. The Old Bridge Rebels Youth Organization is the longest-running and most successful youth organization, serving Old Bridge Township. The Rebels are the premier football and cheer organization with a long and rich history in coaching and developing our community's future leaders. Through proper guidance and leadership, the Rebels program assists the youth in developing the qualities of safe play, discipline, teamwork, fundamentals, and well-being. We will continue to focus on these goals while maintaining a strong presence in the community. Check us out at swsrebels.org.
This football season, stop by Market Boy Liquors, your hometown destination for over 20 years. Family-owned and operated, our 8,000-square-foot store features the largest beer cooler in the area, plus an unbeatable selection of wine, spirits, cigars, and craft beer. Conveniently located at 1132 Englishtown Road, Old Bridge, New Jersey, 08857, Market Boy Liquors is proud to serve our community with the best variety and friendly service. Call us today at 732-251-4616 and make Market Boy your game day headquarters.
When it comes to buying and selling a home, do it with Peter Hunt's Home Team, powered by Century 21. For years, Peter has dedicated his life to the real estate industry, offering help and care to all of his clients. With experience and proven results, Peter is an award-winning realtor and the top producer for Century 21 Action Plus. A resident of Old Bridge, put Peter to work at selling your home or finding the home of your dreams. Call 1-800-299-2129 or reach Peter directly at 9086-014-934.
For raising the standard in facility services and commercial cleaning look to Pritchard Industries. For over 35 years, our commitment to creating clean, healthy, and safe environments is unwavering, ensuring that your facility not only looks pristine, but also promotes well-being and productivity so your business can excel. Specializing in comprehensive commercial cleaning solutions, advanced facility services, responsible sustainable practices, and innovative technology, contact us now at PritchardIndustries.com. Pritchard Industries, here for you.
At Giuseppe's Old School Italian Pizzeria, we bring you the perfect blend of tradition and flavor. Whether you're craving a classic New York-style pizza, a hearty pasta dish, or a fresh Italian hero, we've got something for everyone. Stop by, grab a slice, and taste the difference of real old-school Italian cooking right here in Old Bridge, New Jersey. Giuseppe's, located at 2581 County Road 516 in Old Bridge. Simply delicious.
At Maz Transport, we're ready to get your vacation started early with luxury airport service and your transportation needs. In fact, whether it's for corporate transport, trips to Atlantic City, a night in the city, date night, or any other need, Maz Transport is your choice for our luxury fleet to take you there in style. Call or text 732-2071-079 and let us know where you want to go, and we'll take care of the rest at Maz Transport.
At Function Forward Physical Therapy, we listen to your specific needs, utilize manual therapy techniques to decrease pain and restore mobility, emphasize customized exercise plans, and are here to assist in all your function and fitness needs. Whether it's return to work or play rehab, fitness training, or our softwave therapy program, we're here to help you get better, feel better, and live better. Function Forward Physical Therapy. Check us out today.
At MassMutual Tri-State, our financial professionals are dedicated to your financial well-being and focused on helping you achieve your financial goals. We provide expertise in crafting strategies that align with your specific needs. We offer industry-leading insurance solutions, financial planning, and wealth management tailored to support your pursuit of a financially secure future. Whether you're planning for retirement, protecting your loved ones, or growing your wealth, we're here to guide you every step of the way. So please call Rich Caruso at 732-623-5700 with any questions and to set an appointment with one of our financial professionals. Thank you. Local firms are sales offices of Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance Company, MassMutual, Springfield, Massachusetts, and are not subsidiaries of MassMutual or its affiliated companies. Securities and investment advisory services offered through qualified registered representatives of MML Investor Services, LLC. Member SIPC, 732-623-5700.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at elitespt.com or call us today to book a consultation.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy is a proud sponsor of all things Old Bridge. Go Knights and go to Bagel Boy. 2329 County Road 516 and at bagelboyonline.com.
Old Bridge students take advantage of the Old Bridge special at Bagel Boy. 10% off all purchases with your valid student ID.
Protect your family, pets, and your wallet with Anchor Pest Control. We provide coverage for all your pest removal needs, and our all-inclusive service saves you money. We've designed our services to be both comprehensive and budget-friendly for homeowners. Plus, with our premium service, you'll get a free mosquito application. See how Anchor stacks up against the competition. Visit us, anchorpestcontrol.net, or call 888-623-2847 for information and service.
And we are back from Sayreville, New Jersey, as we are just about set for kickoff about 2 minutes early. The Knights take on the Bombers in the semifinal round of the NJS IAA Central Jersey Group 5 playoffs. The Knights to receive the opening kickoff, and it's a squib kick fielded just beyond the 25-yard line. And the run back goes out across the 30, close to the 35, and it looked for a moment that the ball may have come out late, but the Knights are indeed on top of it. On the run back was Jaden Endaz, and Brody Nugent will lead the Old Bridge offense out onto the field to get us started.
And how important really is it in this game, Joe, for one of these two teams, of course, to get that first score? For Old Bridge, we talked about what Sayreville does in the running game, but we saw what Old Bridge did last week in their own running game. It'd be very big for them if they could set the tone early with a score.
Well, we promised some pregame highlights, but we have a lot of sponsors, Nick, so we didn't get there. Perhaps at halftime we take a look back at last week for a stroll down memory lane, though. We have some more playoff action for you here tonight on PDF, our second 2025 playoff matchup. Here on the PDF Sports Network, we welcome in the Sayreville contingent in the live chat alongside our very loyal Old Bridge contingent. First play of the game is a keeper for Brody Nugent. And he takes it behind left guard, spins off a tackle, and is finally directed out of bounds across the Knights' 45-yard line. A good run on first down for Nugent.
And I was curious to see, Joe, what this game plan is going to be for Old Bridge tonight. We saw how big they were in the ground game. Can we see them maybe try to go to the passing game that we saw earlier on in the season? I'll be very curious to see how they plan this one out, as Nugent gets about 6 yards on first down.
A big key for the Bombers tonight, do not let Brody Nugent break tackles. So elusive, as we know, Nick, has great breakaway speed, but he took that to another level last week with the broken tackles and those breakaway touchdown runs. Once he gets to the second level, those defensive backs can't catch him. It's a second down handoff. Chase Rizzo picks up a first down across midfield, and he is tackled at the Sayreville 49.
Well, while you also have to watch out for Brody Nugent in the ground game, you also got to watch out for Chase Rizzo. Another strong game last week in their win, and he gets a nice first down run right there.
And for Rizzo, I think a big key was consistency in the lineup. Had to miss a game late in the season, miss some time early in the season, as I thought we were about to get potentially a flag for a Knights false start. Instead, a whistle has come in from along the Bombers sideline. And play has been stopped.
Not sure for what exactly. No flag I saw on the field either.
Yeah, I thought perhaps a flag was coming out, but
maybe a discussion on the chains? Maybe if it was a first down or not?
Not sure. He picked it up by a pretty safe margin,
yeah,
I'd say.
I thought it was clear as day.
I don't think that was the discussion, but whatever the issue was has been resolved, and the Knights offense continues this drive with a 1st and 10 from the Sayreville 49. Chance of defense from the Bombers fan base in front of us as Nugent looks to throw. Deep down the field, and just a bit too long for a wide open Amari Allsbrook.
And Joe, Nugent's going to want to have that one back. He had a wide open down the sideline. He just overthrew it.
You don't see Brody Nugent miss those too often, and Nick, you don't see your receiver get that open over the top too often either.
Yeah.
Allsbrook winning clean up the sideline.
That looks similar to what Freehold did last week against Old Bridge. Right on that sideline, getting the one-on-one coverage.
A rare misfire for Nugent on first down. It's now 2nd and 10. Trips to the right of the formation. Nugent flanked in the backfield by John Raimondi Jr. He now moves him over to his left. Nugent will keep running behind Raimondi Jr. And Nugent has about 7. That will bring up a 3rd down and 3.
16 Nugent with the quarterback keep.
Another quarterback keeper right there. Now makes a 3rd and about 3 yards, as you mentioned. Could be a spot where Old Bridge can maybe try to draw the defense offside.
They're to the line quickly. Nugent will keep. Nugent will pick up the first down, and he will take it inside of the Bombers' 35.
Giving that Sayreville defense no time to really react after that 2nd down run. They get up quickly to the line. Nugent gets the first down run and extends this drive.
We see it from the Knights all the time. They always get to the line quickly, sometimes just in an effort to make sure the defense can't substitute, as Nugent will keep it again. It's a foot race toward the sideline, and Nugent is brought down. He may have just made it back to the line of scrimmage.
That was Appia on the tackle right there. That's a great tackle by him because Nugent had that sideline if he was able to get past him.
So they gave Nugent a few yards there. He did pick up about 5 or 6. I had the line of scrimmage to the 30 instead of the 35. That was my mistake. This time he will hand off to Chase Rizzo, and Rizzo is stood up and stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Chase Rizzo, tackle made by number 52, Adrian Sesla.
Adrian Sesla on the tackle right there. No gain on the play for Rizzo. Makes him still third and about 5.
And you're in that area of the field, Nick, where you probably have 2 plays to get this.
We did see, I will say, in pregame, Ferretto was kicking from around the 30-yard line, so they could maybe think about a field goal, but you're right. It could be a spot. I would expect it to be 4-down territory.
Well, Nugent is over at his sideline right now as they've just began running the clock.
They had to take out Cronin. He lost his helmet on that last play, so he has to sub out for a play.
More chance of defense from the home crowd. 3rd and 5 for the Knights. Nugent once again in an empty backfield. Tried to draw the Bombers off sides with that hard count to no avail. Once again getting direction from his sideline.
Watch that bubble screen, Joe, that Old Bridge likes to run these spots.
Rizzo the motion man. Nugent under pressure, rolling left. And Nugent flips it forward, incomplete. And that is good backside pursuit there by Dion Osei.
How dangerous was that play by Nugent right there, Joe? That could have been a disaster for Old Bridge.
Dangerous moment there. There was a lot of open space for Nugent to flip that ball. You have to keep in mind as well, he needs to get that back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Did he?
Barely did, yeah.
Well, he didn't, but
oh, yeah, you're right,
I think you would argue the defense caused that pass to come up short. But he did not get that back to the line of scrimmage. 4th down. Rizzo in the backfield alongside Nugent, trips to the left. The Knights converted a big 4th down on their opening drive last week, looking for one more here. Nugent, quick throw, incomplete, and into a very dangerous spot. That could have been picked as well, Nick.
Yeah, and Joe, you're going to see it right here on the replay. Look exactly how the Sayreville defense drew up this play. They didn't rush too many people on it. They stayed back pretty much towards that 1st down marker, and that led to that incompletion right there that they forced. A great start early for this Sayreville defense as they now get the ball.
Looking at that replay, Nick, run it back one more time. It looked like they had one defender assigned to Chase Rizzo coming from the middle of the field, and another that was assigned to Brody Nugent. And both of those defenders ended up right in the path of the throw. And I think that's the reason the coverage was so tight. Bombers offense out there for the first time. Ball at their own 28-yard line, and the handoff is fumbled. But the ball is still loose.
I think Old Bridge got it, Joe.
They did, but I think they blew the play dead, Nick. They blew it dead. That's an early whistle, Nick. I think that ball was loose.
Recovered by Sayreville, ruled down on contact.
We'll get one more look at that, Nick, but I think that ball was loose. Oh, that's an early whistle, Nick.
Yeah.
Tough break for the Knights. Really tough break for the Knights.
Yeah, that's one you want to have back if you're this Knights defense because they got it perfectly played. A bad handoff on that end around, and instead Sayreville gets a big break right there. Now it's 2nd and 12.
I think the question mark is whether or not he was down by contact as they'll hand off to Osei here. He breaks a tackle and is hit hard at the end of that play.
Yeah, that was a very heavy hit.
Not the man you want to run into as a ball carrier. Zach Florio delivers the big hit.
I think Diaz also as well was in on that play. It makes it about 3rd and I think about 8 yards in this play here. could be a spot where Old Bridge is going to try to force this offense to maybe throw the football.
On 3rd and 8, I think the chances of a throw here are fairly high. Just one more look at that last play.
You'll see the hit at the very end.
Oof. And you're right, Nick. That was not Florio who delivered the hit. Pass attempt is coming here, and it is incomplete over the middle. Butker could not connect with his man in double coverage. Apia, the intended target.
And, Joe, I think that's going to be the key to this game for Old Bridge. If they can force a 3rd and long spot where they force this offense to throw the football, that's where they got to feel a little bit more confident in this defense. A good start for them as they force a quick 3 and out after they turned it over on downs.
You're right, Nick. I think the key, get them in 3rd and long, take the run game off the table, especially on 3rd and long in your own territory. Takes a much bolder play caller to say we're going to run it on 3rd and long on your own side of the 50. Low snap on the punt. It is loose. And getting the kick away was Barnes, and it's a good one considering the circumstances. Wow. That is a huge play on special teams. Chase Barnes somehow managed to get that kick away. It takes a Bombers bounce and comes to rest all the way back at the Knights' 38-yard line.
You can't ask for much more if you're right there, if you're Barnes. He somehow was able to avoid this first tackle. You see it right there and just get it away. And he got very good yardage, as you mentioned, as well as a little bit of a bounce going at around, as you mentioned, it looks like to be the 38-yard line where Old Bridge picks up this drive.
That one stings if you're Old Bridge. You have a chance to make a tackle there and take over inside the red zone. They had a chance to recover what may or may not have been a fumble and take over inside the 30. Instead, they begin their second drive at their own 38-yard line. Nugent once again in the shotgun, flanked by Rizzo. 4 receivers on the field as a flag comes out, and it indeed is a Knights false start.
And that's another thing that the Knights need to fix in this game, Joe. They've had penalty issues for a good amount of this season. This is a game, of course, where it's being so late in the season. You're in the semifinals. You can't afford to have penalties at this point on either side of the ball. So an early false start, that makes it 1st and 15.
We've said it more than once already, Nick, but at the times when the Knights have looked vulnerable, penalties have typically been a big reason why. And it's been rare, but when the penalties have been an issue, they have been an issue. As that pass is complete, and Aiden Rios is thrown down by Sherwin Apia.
Yeah,
and it draws a flag.
That's a great tackle by Apia. The question is going to be, what is the flag on that sideline? Did he maybe grab him by the face mask?
It looked like the helmet of Rios came off at the end of the play, and it is a
unsportsmanlike
personal foul for unsportsmanlike conduct against the Bombers. And
I think it's for maybe how he threw him down on the tackle.
Yeah, he gave him a whip and a throw. He taunted. He taunted him.
Okay.
I think the tackle was clean. I think that's what happened after.
I was going to say, initially, it didn't look like he did much on the tackle, but yeah.
I think that's a clean tackle, but there were words exchanged or perhaps words directed at Rios after the play, and we don't know what was said, but
even if you look down at it,
that's a tough call.
Well, even remember in the NFL also, even if you look down at an opponent, that count that as taunting too.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does come down to what is said.
Yeah.
Can you really tell if he's looking down inside of his helmet? It looked like he was, but
we know how we know how like some of the calls are when we watch professional football. They can be very stingy sometimes with the officials when they look in terms of taunting and stuff like that.
That's a tough one. They have to get the sticks in order here.
Yeah.
So the personal foul did not afford the Knights a first down. It is a 2nd down and 1 coming up here. Ball moved up to the 47-yard line. Nugent will fake the handoff, moving to his left, trying to get away, and he throws that one into the Knights bench.
Good pass rush right there once again by Sayreville's defense, and they've got a lot of pressure so far in this game. The question is that intentional? Are they going for intentional grounding? Maybe.
Well, it can't be intentional grounding.
I didn't think it was.
You could argue Nugent should have been flagged for grounding on the first drive because his pass did not reach the line of scrimmage. The question is whether or not the defense altered that backhanded flip enough to cause the ball to land short of the line of scrimmage.
I think an eligible man down the field is what the call was.
Well, that will back them up 5 yards and bring up a third down.
That's what at least it looked like what the call was.
Well, they've backed them up much further than that,
5
Nick.
yards.
That was an illegal pass, intentional grounding, so to speak,
So
against Old Bridge.
So it was intentional grounding.
Do you have a replay of that, Nick?
I didn't catch the tail. I caught the tail end of it.
That is shocking that they called intentional grounding there. I thought for sure he was outside of the tackle box.
I thought so too.
And the throw definitely got back to the line of scrimmage. Is it? You know what? Is it possible it didn't? It is possible that he sent it into the bench short of the line of scrimmage. It actually is possible he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage with the throw. Nugent now looking to throw on third and very long. Has a man wide open. That is complete to Michael Chiarella. And he has a first down inside of the Bombers' 40-yard line.
And, Joe, you'll see it here on the replay in just a moment. It's a great play call by Old Bridge. They get a crossing route with two receivers crossing up the middle of the field, and that led to the receiver being wide open. You see it right there, perfectly wide open, getting the first down and extra yardage as the Knights are now in to Sayreville territory.
And watching that back, Nick, it almost looked like they had two quarterback spies on Brody Nugent on that play. Nugent will keep here on 1st and 10. Nugent fighting forward is about 2 yards short of a first down at the Sayreville 30.
And we saw this Knights offense look good in the first drive, Joe. Now it's going to come down to capitalizing and scoring at the end of the day. They went 4 and out, a turnover on downs their last time out. Nugent keeps it again. He's got the first down.
Knights to the line quickly. Nugent right up the middle picks up another first down. And after a first drive that stalled around this area of the field, the Knights will look to capitalize on drive number 2.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. It comes down to these teams having to score because there might be points of the game where 1 or 2 stops might be the difference maker for either side to gain the win.
Nugent will hand off this time to Chase Rizzo. And again, Rizzo is driven backwards at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10.
That was Chase Barnes, who I believe leads the team in tackles this season. He's had a very good defensive year for this Sayreville defense. He made a nice tackle right there on Rizzo.
Knights right back to the line in the gun, trips to the left.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10 for the Knights.
Nugent will keep. He has blocking to his left, and he is chased down from behind. Tackle made by Chase Barnes.
No pun intended there.
Nugent about 2 yards short of a first down, and Nick, our audience knows we love our puns.
Yeah, of course. Big spot here, Joe. 3rd and 2 for this Knights offense. I wouldn't be surprised if they go some type of read option here in the backfield with Nugent and try to get that first down.
Raimondi Jr. still in there, and he's typically in there to serve as a lead blocker. We'll see if the Knights change it up. Chase Rizzo lined up in the middle of that trip set to the right. And Nugent will indeed keep it, looking for a hole, lowers his shoulder, and he's close, Nick. Did he get enough?
He's right at the line.
I think he's short.
I think they're going to give him the first.
They gave him the first down.
Yeah, he was tackled right at that first down marker. So it was the question of, was it inches short or if he got just enough for the first?
I thought he needed about the 12 or 13-yard line. It looks like the 13. Up the 12. That's the 12. I thought he needed the 12. The ball's spotted just shy of the 12, but Nugent did pick up enough for the first down. And the Knights move the chains now as they look to put the first points of this game on the board. Nugent lined up in an empty backfield. Will keep again. Big hole left side. Nugent in for the touchdown, and the Knights strike first in the opening quarter.
Joe, it pretty much seemed like he walked in almost untouched on that play. It's a simple quarterback draw right up the middle. They were looking at that sideline, if you'll see it in just a second, that maybe they were going to go for that outside screen pass. But Nugent, once again, takes it himself, and you see it right there. Good blocking by the Knights' offensive line. He evades the 2 tackles and gets in for the 6.
You can run that back one more time, Nick. It looked like it was Christian Woodard who had to respect the screen setup on the left. We'll wait until the PAT perhaps.
Low snap.
And Ferretto is still perfect. No commentator's jinx here, Nick. Let's run back the touchdown once more.
You see right here once again. You'll see on the outside they set up for the 2 screens, and that maybe was the reason why Nugent, had a little bit of separation up the middle of the field. But as we mentioned, that offensive line did a good job of giving Nugent time to direct that play and find out where that open space could be.
So it was Osei who had to respect the screen on the left side, Nick, and he was the man that missed the tackle, trying to then make up the ground and tackle Brody Nugent. That is a really tough play for a defensive back. You're in a position where you have to respect that screen pass. Right. At the same time, you're going up against an elite offensive line, and they played so well during the postseason so far. We saw what they did last week, what Nugent did last week. If you don't commit yourself to stopping Brody Nugent off the snap, it is tough to recover and make that tackle as a DB.
Yeah, no question about it. And we've talked about how many times this season where the Knights have also been very good in the pass scheme in terms of getting that yardage through that screen, bubble screen on the outside. They set up the double wide receiver screen on that play, and it led to Nugent getting up the field for the rushing touchdown.
I think the key for the Knights in the passing game is they have gotten the big plays when they need them. 3rd and 13, backed up by the intentional grounding. Nugent completes, and it was a short completion to Chiarella, but you said it, Nick. It was the play called in that situation, diverting the defense away. Looking at it again, I think they had 2 defenders on that play watching Brody Nugent, and that opened up the room for Chiarella to make the catch and pick up the big run after. That kickoff skips into the arms of Atta, and he is tripped up on a nice tackle in the open field by Griffin Nugent.
Nice job by Griffin Nugent right there. We've seen the Knights, unfortunately, sometimes this year, Joe, struggle in the special teams department in terms of kickoff returns. That's a big tackle right there by Nugent, and that's a big reason why they kicked it short.
Oftentimes, if there's been an Achilles heel for the Knights in terms of the 3 facets of the game, offense, defense, special teams, it's been the kick coverage. Ferretto's been great. The Knights have had some big run backs of their own, but the kick coverage at times has been lacking. They've tried to find creative ways to kick away from the dynamic return men, and that time the squib kick pays off as the Bombers begin this drive inside of their own 30, and they will look to throw. Butko with plenty of time delivers complete. That is Sean Jackson on the reception. And Nick, you mentioned that he is adept as a pass catcher as well, not just as a runner.
Yeah, and I talked about it earlier that maybe Sayreville's game plan today could be trying to draw that play action that we saw earlier this season really hurt Old Bridge's defense. Perfectly called, and Jackson gets the reception and gets the first down.
And we've spoken plenty about the Old Bridge offensive line. We know how good the Sayreville offensive line is as well. How about the pass protection on that play to give Butko all that time?
So they once again shift the offensive line.
You have to think the Knights have prepared for this plenty on film as they will hand off and immediately hit. Was Apia. He falls forward for a gain of about 2.
That was Valinati, that first man there to make the tackle. Surprised early on that we haven't seen Jackson get a lot more carries in the ground game. They've gone to Apia so far for a couple carries in this first quarter.
1:50 to go here in quarter number 1. We'll try and keep you updated on the time remaining in each quarter as we don't have that on our live scoreboard. Nick's a busy man over there at the engineering desk.
You'll have to keep me informed, too. I can't even see the scoreboard.
That is true. That is true. I'm actually cheating. We have the panel to our right. Direct snap goes to Jackson. He has a big hole in blocking on the left side. Jackson across the 40, across the 30, and tackled just outside of the red zone.
Well, you have to respect Jackson as well as a passer, Joe. He hasn't passed a touchdown this season, but they keep him up in the Wildcat formation right here. Takes the direct snap, and he finds great blocking once again. You'll see right there the man in motion, but look at the hole he got immediately as soon as he got the snap. Goes down the sideline. Great blocking once again, and just one man to beat. Thankfully for the Knights, they're able to make that tackle.
The Knights got some hands on him in a bit of traffic, couldn't bring him down, and Jackson in the open field showing off that explosive speed. He will get the handoff here. Another big hole. Jackson inside the 10, fighting forward, and he is in for a Bombers touchdown.
Jackson, unfortunately, Joe, dropping a bomb early in this game with that touchdown. That is an incredible run because you'll see it right here on the replay. It was not the easiest of runs for Jackson to get there. They send the man in motion. He gets the handoff. He breaks the tackle there. Just able to break the tackle there and just barely gets into the end zone for the touchdown. They're an extra point away from tying this game.
Rushing touchdown number 23 for Sean Jackson on the season. And the Bombers are lined up to go for two here. A unique look.
Very unique look on this formation.
I think you could move this into an extra point formation.
That's
and they
exactly
will.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're keeping us on their toes right now with these formations.
Got to keep up on your film study. And the PAT is up and good to tie the score at 7. But, Nick, we mentioned how dynamic Jackson is during the pregame, and we saw it on full display during the last two plays on that drive.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned it. I was surprised that he hadn't gotten a carry so far in this game. And as soon as I said that, he gets two of the biggest carries so far in this one. Back-to-back strong runs, back-to-back big plays, and one of them leading to the game-tying touchdown.
And I think what really stands out about that scoring drive, and in particular those last two plays, is that they found creative ways to get the ball in Jackson's hands. First, they ran the Wildcat formation, got him a direct snap, let this offensive line go to work. They do a great job setting up the blocks. They get him into the second level. He picks up even more yardage from there. The following play, they faked the handoff to Sherwin Apia, who was lined up at fullback, and brought Jackson across the formation. He was initially lined up outside of the tight end position, came across the offensive backfield, took the handoff. You get it to him with a running start, and all of a sudden you have that Old Bridge defense collapsing toward the middle of the line of scrimmage, and you get a defensive back one-on-one with Jackson in the open field. That is a very tough ask to make that tackle on the second level. Jackson able to break it and take it to the house for a touchdown. Kickoff ends up in the hands of Chase Rizzo. And he broke one tackle but could not get away from a second Bomber as he is brought down inside of the Knights' 30-yard line.
It's something that I've noticed also that is kind of funny as a college football fan for me with this Sayreville team. Same color concept that they have at Air Force and the exact almost similar type of offense that they run at Air Force in terms of running that option style team where maybe you throw a play action pass here and there, but they are very run heavy just like they are at Air Force. So kind of funny how it's almost the same similar color style as well with it.
Have to say I appreciate the logo as well.
That's true.
I always like a good logo.
Yeah.
Once again, Nugent in an empty shotgun set. He will move Rios out to the left a bit as he keeps it here, breaks a tackle, and takes it across the 30.
Nugent with the quarterback keep.
Give him a gain of about 3 or 4 on the play.
They once again had that wide receiver screen set up on the outside just in case, but once again, Nugent took it himself up the middle to get a couple yards on that play. And as you mentioned, about 2nd and 6 upcoming here for the Knights.
Nugent with Raimondi Jr. in the backfield. Will keep it once again, looking for a hole. Doesn't get very far. And is tackled short of the 35-yard line. So very quickly, it's going to be a 3rd down and 4 for the Knights in their own territory.
It's back-to-back keepers right there for Nugent. And you're in that spot where about 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, if you can get a couple yards, it'd be tough early in this game, but if it's about 4th and 2, 4th and 1, would the Knights maybe even consider going for it?
They don't have to run a play, but they will with 5 seconds to go in the quarter. Flag comes out as Nugent throws an interception. No.
Dropped, but
it's through the arms of Curbelo.
Yeah. And thankfully for Old Bridge, that's the case, but they also got a holding on the play,
Yeah.
so it's going to be against the Knights, but they're grateful that that wasn't intercepted.
I thought he had it, and it squirted through. as Curbelo went down to the turf.
You'll see it right here. Last play of the first quarter, almost dramatic play right there for both sides.
Well, that will be our final play of the opening quarter, as we had a bit of an audio glitch in the venue.
I'm not sure what that was.
That wasn't us.
Thankfully not.
But second quarter will begin with a 4th down and 4. We'll throw it to a quick message from our sponsors, and we'll be right back for the second quarter here on the PDF Sports Network. We are back for the second quarter from Sayreville, New Jersey. Keep in mind, Nick, the Knights never sure to punt it, and Brody Nugent is back there, so he could elect to try and throw it. He'll take a look, and it's a short one as he will kick. Ball lands at the 35 and takes a good Knights bounce.
A very good bounce.
And it will roll all the way down inside of the 15-yard line, coming to rest at the Bombers' 13. So we've seen a couple of good punts in this game, Nick. Nugent gave it a quick look, didn't elect to throw it. And I think early in this game, unless it's a sure thing, you can't try it.
You can. And you also have to respect your opponent, too. And we just saw what they did in that last drive offensively. You can't really give them that short field to show. You'd rather push them all the way back to around, what was it, the 13-yard line? They're going to be starting this next drive. That's a great punt right there by Nugent.
The Bombers take over deep in their own territory at the 13. Drive number 1 was short-lived. Drive number 2, a scoring drive. Handoff here goes to Apia once again, and he picks up first down yardage.
And this is why that type of offense that I mentioned earlier on, where we see, in the college game, where it's the military schools, the Navies, the Air Forces, the Armies, they run this offense where you have the fullback and the running back set up, they have a man in motion, and you get that quick handoff into the inside that really is tough for any defense to stop.
And they were showing Wildcat there, but they will rearrange things and remain in the Wildcat formation. Direct snap went to Jackson, looking for a hole and managing to find one. He picks up about 6 or 7 on the play. Give him 8.
Yeah, I mean,
what a run.
He's been tough to tackle right now in this game, Joe. He is breaking off a couple tackles, and that one didn't look sure as fire off the get-go, and he's able to get 8 yards on that play.
That play did not look promising off the snap, and Jackson found some room, but that burst through the hole picked up 8 yards.
It's not a quote-unquote broken play, but sometimes the broken plays are the ones that work the most.
We know how good this Knights defense is in terms of their tackling, a very fundamentally sound team. They don't make many mistakes in terms of missing what should be tackles. And that time, Jackson able to find just a sliver of space and turn it into 8 yards, showing how good he is. This time the snap goes to Apia, and Apia spins off a hit right at the sticks.
Got the first down.
He will pick up the first down. Gain of 2 on the play, and that will move the chains.
It's just really tough right now, Joe. They might have made it 3rd and 1.
They've announced the 3rd and 1. It was awfully close.
But it should be a first down where they have it marked.
I thought he had it.
I think they're going to adjust the chains now.
Well, they've stopped the clock.
They're adjusting the chains.
And indeed, it is a first down.
Knights need to figure out a way, though, Joe, to find something to stop this inside handoff or that wildcat formation type of play. They're not going wildcat right now to start off this next play, but you have to think it's going to be an inside handoff once again.
A single back look. You don't see much of that either as Jackson takes the handoff on the jet sweep. He's in the open field, and Valinati drills him, but not before he picks up another Bombers first down.
It was a hard-earned first down right there, for sure. Valinati delivering that big hit, but this is why it's really tough for any defense to stop this play, Joe. I'll have to fasten up just a second, but you see right there that jet sweep. You're expecting that inside run. Even I was expecting the inside run, and they counteracted with that jet sweep to the outside. This is why it's really been tough for any of these teams to stop this Sayreville offense all season.
You get a look at how they've run the offense so far, and they've found ways to get the ball in the hands of their ball carriers in motion as Apia is close to another first down. He's got it with the second effort. Out across the Knights' 40-yard line, and right now these Sayreville running backs are asserting their will.
Yeah, I mean, you see it once again, Joe. Another inside handoff. Apia this time is the one that gets it, but it took multiple Knight defenders. You didn't even fool our camera operator for a second, too. Pat thought that was going back to the outside, but it went right back into the inside. It's another first down.
Pat up top earning that paycheck, braving the elements and the chilly weather tonight, and he's got a tough task in front of him following the football with this Bombers offense.
It is not easy right now.
I think that's a testament to some good play calling.
Yeah.
See how the Knights adjust.
So the wildcat formation.
Pre-snap motion by Osei. They'll fake the handoff to him. Jackson keeps. And a flag comes out in the offensive backfield. It hits Emmanuel Escobar right in the rear, and that's a 10-yard holding call.
And Joe, how big is that for this Knights defense, to get that penalty call? Because they've been struggling right now on these last couple runs. Now you first a first and 20, where you could be affording giving up about a 3 or 4 yard carry. If they can make it third and long like we saw earlier in this game on the first drive, that will give the Knights defense a chance to maybe get a stop on third down and put a spot where, if you're Sayreville, do you consider, depending on how many yards you need, do you consider going for it?
We're at 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter. And I think with the amount of ground game we've seen, the clock obviously moving plenty here in the second quarter, Bombers haven't attempted a pass, but I'll make my point following this play.
They have attempted one.
And there's another, complete to Jackson. And
great tackle.
They have a pass on this drive, Nick?
Not on this drive, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I meant on this drive. I'm sorry.
I meant on this drive.
That was Iacono on the tackle.
The point I was going to make, they've actually attempted in the game, I believe, 2 passes. One complete to Jackson, one incomplete over the middle on third down.
Yes.
But on this drive, no passes.
Yes.
My point was going to be, with how much they've run it, and with the clock moving very quickly, we're now approaching 7 minutes to go in the quarter. You give the Knights defense at halftime a chance to adjust to what you've been doing. To the credit of this Old Bridge coaching staff, they have been really good at adjusting at halftime when needed. And a good example of that is the game against Hunterdon Central.
Yep.
They did a great job of adjusting as Butka is in trouble, and he is wrapped up for the sack back at the 45-yard line.
And Joe, I mentioned it when the penalty happened. That could be a potential breaking point for this Knights defense to finally getting a stop. They forced back-to-back passing plays, that screen pass, and then that last passing play right there. It's now a long third and about 25 upcoming here for Sayreville.
Well, you get behind the sticks via penalty. It puts you in a tough spot. 1st and 20, you can run it there, but it's not an easy decision to make.
Right.
You end up 2nd and long, and now 3rd and long. Maybe you just put it on the ground here and punt it away.
Thinking maybe a screen pass once again if I'm Sayreville.
Good call, Nick. Could be a double pass.
I thought about it.
You and I were both
thinking the same thing.
Was it a backwards pass?
I think it was.
Let's run it back one more time. We have a pretty good perspective. I think at most it was a lateral in terms of not a backwards pass, but a directly lateral to the quarterback pass.
Backward.
Yep.
Just behind him, yep.
He could have thrown it if he wanted, but that was not the play call.
And the reason why I thought of it, too, because I have played a lot of college football, the video game, and I have been bit by that play.
You have
so
an eye
many
for
times.
it.
Yeah, I was getting some flashbacks, not the good ones.
It is a 4th and 20,
Another
a bit of a low
snap.
snap. Yeah, another low one. The Knights will watch this one skip.
Did he? I was just saying,
into the end zone.
Yeah, that was a
touchback.
They almost kept that one alive.
Well, we mentioned the punters on a couple of occasions already in this game with good kicks have given their defenses a chance with some decent field position. And here, Bombers came awfully close to pinning the Knights at the 1. Now, I'm curious to know, was it on the first touch or the second?
I think it was on the first one, it looked like.
Yeah, it looked like the first player to touch it was airborne. I don't know about the second. That's close.
Yeah.
I think either way, your second player touched it in the end zone with a foot on the goal line.
Chance here for this Old Bridge offense, though, to get another stop. Can they get the go-ahead score once again?
Rios, the motion man. Quick throw goes to Chase Rizzo. And he's pushed out of bounds, shy of the 30-yard line. Close to a first down. Did he get it? I thought he was just short.
He's right at the marker. He might be a yard shy.
Yep, 1 yard short. Just over 5 minutes to go in the quarter. So if the Knights take their time here, this could be our last drive of the half. It certainly could be the last for Old Bridge.
Yeah.
And you think once they get across midfield, they start to think about that. It's not on your mind here, but once you're on the plus side of the 50, I think you definitely consider that. As Nugent will keep and take it across the 35-yard line for a Knights first down.
And again, you just see Nugent's finding a good spot right now. But we talked about it earlier. You have to give credit to this Old Bridge offensive line this season. They're just making it very easy for Nugent to find these holes. You see it right there. Good blocking, avoids the first tackle. The attacker was still there, but was able to get the first down regardless.
Motion man is Rios once again. Nugent will look to throw. And he'll air it out, sideline incomplete. That one a throwaway from the pocket.
Yeah.
You know, Nick,
I mean,
you could say Rios was underneath the ball, but
yeah,
you know, that is towing a very fine line between.
We've already seen one happen in this game.
I think when he released it, he did have two receivers in that vicinity.
Yeah.
You could get away with that one, but
I think it came down to the point where nothing really developed on that play. If I had to guess, they were trying to maybe go down deep the field because they were going for the one-on-one coverage, but it wasn't open that time like it was earlier in this game.
I think when you have a receiver get behind you as early as the Bombers did, it really opened some eyes in the secondary, and it's tough to get that kind of look again. As Nugent will throw the screen off target, it's through the hands of Rizzo, but that pass was off the mark.
And this is helping Sayreville right now. Back-to-back incompletion stops the clock, and with one more stop can get in the football back, and they can have the last drive of the first half if they get the stop right here.
We mentioned that if you're the Old Bridge defense, you're looking to put the Bombers in third and long situations. The same goes for the Sayreville defense.
Yes.
And I think when it comes down to third and long, Old Bridge, in terms of what we've seen with passing volume this year, a bit more equipped to convert in these spots, but
they've already had one tonight so far.
I think it makes it much easier to make Brody Nugent uncomfortable in the pocket on third and long. See if they can do that here. Nugent in a clean pocket, throwing downfield, incomplete, and no flag on the play.
Yeah, Knights were looking for the pass interference on that one.
I could see why, Nick, but
I saw it, but I didn't think there was enough to call it.
I'm inclined to say that's probably a penalty, but let's see. Well, we're not going to see it. There was a lot of contact.
Yeah,
Nick.
he might have held the arm.
Was it catchable?
It was over.
I think it's close enough.
I think the conversation is that he held the arm so that maybe stopped him from running, and that's why he went over his head.
I probably would throw a flag on that based on what I saw in real time. That being said, if he's not impeded, I think the ball was overthrown. I don't think he was getting there. The punt will land in the Knights bench around the 40. That time It was Tomas Santos punting, and they'll spot it at the Bombers' 44.
Yeah, it's not good for the Knights right there. It's great field position for Sayreville.
And Sayreville has 4:24 remaining in this half. Plenty of time to run it. And you can't see Rizzo there.
I can't really tell. It looks like he.
You can't see the relevant part of the play.
Yeah, I think for a split second, it looked like maybe he grabbed his arm, but it's really close to tell.
I think if you were to call anything on that play, it would have to be holding instead of pass interference, because it looks like the ball, once it was out, the contact had already occurred if it was enough to warrant a flag. But that's enough on that play, as the Bombers will run it on first down. A flag came out at the end of that play.
Carried by number 2, Sherwood Apia.
For now, it's a gain of 6.
Be great for the Knights if this is on the Sayreville offense. We saw it derail their last drive.
Flag came in late.
Face mask. Yeah, against the Knights. That's a big one.
Well, that really jump-starts this drive now. Against an offense that came out looking to keep the ball on the ground, 4:24, you still have plenty of time to run it. You add 15 yards to that, and now you have all the time in the world. But it was a 5-yard variety on the face mask, Nick, not 15.
We're accustomed to 15, the professional.
Yeah, that was the 5-yard variety. Admittedly, Nick, I was not aware there was a 5-yard variety until just now.
I admit that as well.
Can't be ashamed to admit your shortcomings, as Jackson is tripped up, and Knights giving him no chance to get to the second level there.
I hate to make that audible noise, but anytime you see a player go up in the air and a tackle like that, those are scary ones.
He was upended there and came down hard on the upper body. Sprung right to his feet, though, to his credit.
Got right back up.
It's been a busy night for him as well, so he's not extremely fresh at the moment.
He's getting set up in the Wildcat right here under center.
A lot of company in that offensive backfield, and how about that play design? The ball's out! And the Knights are there. Did they get on top of it? I believe they did.
They definitely did, Joe.
That play was blown up behind the line of scrimmage as Osei took the handoff. I'm not sure he ever controlled it, and the Knights have the recovery on the fumble.
Joe, I'm not going to lie, I love the play call design. It really fooled me for a second, but that's just a great heads-up play right there to make the tackle. That was
Barkazi in there.
Barkazi, yeah.
I didn't see him punch the ball out, but as soon as he arrived, the ball came loose.
Immediately came out.
So he will be credited with that forced fumble. And that's a great play by a defensive lineman to diagnose that play, stay with the football. And I didn't see him punch it loose, but his presence jarred the football out. And the Knights recover.
Not an easy play to read. He read it perfectly.
Nugent will keep. Nugent into the second level and across the 35 down at the 30.
Great run play right there for Nugent. Again, just finding that seam up the middle of the field and getting the first down as they try to go quickly to the line.
Under 3 minutes to go in the half. The Knights have it at the Sayreville 30-yard line. And now if you're Old Bridge, Nick, I think you start to consider how much time you have left in this half. You know you can take clock with you here. Nugent in an empty backfield in the gun. Will look to throw. Firing downfield, low and incomplete. Diving attempt by Aiden Rios.
With a second look right here at that last first down run. Previous play before that incompletion. You see right there, Joe, just a great move by Nugent to get the extra yardage as well. So tough to tackle as well for the Sayreville defense. And another big run for him tonight. He's certainly got to be over 100 yards rushing at this point.
You see quarterbacks who can run. You see quarterbacks with great speed. He is just so elusive. And he's elusive between the tackles. He doesn't need to be in the open field. I think that's what makes it impressive. In a tight space, he's able to make defenders miss. Once again, Nugent in an empty shotgun backfield will look to throw. Pressure on the way. Throwing downfield for Rizzo. Incomplete. on the coverage. That was Osei, and Rizzo went up to try and make the one-handed grab.
Yeah, again, it looked like maybe he overthrew it by a couple feet because Rizzo did have a little bit of a step, but it was going to take a tough catch for him to make it. But you'll see it right there. It looked like he maybe just overthrew it by about a little bit on that play. And once again, Joe, it's going to be 3rd and long for this Old Bridge offense.
And Nick, they are right at the 30. I think if they picked up a couple, I think you'd have to go for it regardless, Nick. I think you go for it no matter what. But you said Ferretto was kicking from here.
It was on that side, on the other side of the field, I will say. So I'm not sure what the win factor is on this side.
If I picked up anything more than 3 yards, I'd probably go for it. As in go for the 4th down.
Right.
And not the field goal. But we'll see if the Knights can make that point move. 3rd and 10. Pressure there. Nugent throws. Allsbrook with no room is brought down by 4 Bombers, and it took one more. He almost got away, Nick.
He was in no man's land, Joe, right there.
That's a play the Knights ran effectively last week, and you have to think the Bombers saw that one on film.
It'll be 4th and 13 for the Knights.
What did the Knights do here, though?
The defensive line was not fooled, and Nick, I think you go for this. I think you go for it. It's tough to drop a punt inside the 10 and down it. There's 1:43 to go and counting here in the half.
Yeah.
I think the Knights are going to let this run all the way down, take time out, and make a decision.
Yeah.
I would be inclined to say go for it, Nick.
Yeah, a field goal would be tough. This would be about a 50-yarder from here.
Well, I think if you missed the field goal, the extra yardage you would give away in that circumstance.
But here's the thing also, depending on how much time is left, does that force Sayreville to maybe throw the ball because there's not much time left in the first half?
The Knights have taken timeout. That is our first timeout of the half.
Yeah.
In a first half, that has flown by.
Well, usually we say that. Now that's I'm kidding.
And that has nothing to do with the bomber jet at midfield.
But keep in mind, this is what I kind of expected. High pace, both of these teams love to run the football, so you had to expect this type of pace to happen in this game. It's gone as pretty much as what we've seen so far. The defenses, to their credit, have made big stops when needed the most. Penalty yardage has also been a factor for some of these drives stopping, but this is a big decision right here for the Knights offense. Do they go for it on 4th down? Do they maybe consider a long field goal attempt? It's really a tough decision in this spot early in this game.
I would not try the field goal, especially after you lost yardage on that play. It would be a 50-yard field goal.
They're going to go for it. I see the offense is coming back out.
I agree. I think that's the right call by head coach Matt Donahue to go for this. You can't try a 50-yard field goal here. There's too much that can go wrong, especially if the kick is short. It opens up the possibility of a run back.
And you risk the possibility of a blocked field goal, too.
Of course.
So, yeah.
I think the one thing you can't afford here is a sack. Do not give away yards on this play. Nugent will look to throw on 4th. Looking downfield. Allsbrook is open, and he makes the catch for a Knights touchdown. On 4th and 13, the Knights go deep, and Nugent connects with Allsbrook for 6.
And boy, did he connect on that one, Joe. He delivered a dime on this play, but give Allsbrook credit. You're not going to see it fully on the replay. He ran a perfect route, a post route towards the outside corner of that pylon. Perfectly thrown ball, perfectly run route. It's a touchdown to give Old Bridge a late lead here in the first half.
We did not see it in the frame, Nick, but did he get him on the old sluggo? Move to the inside, break out, and up the field toward the pylon, as you mentioned, Nick. And that time, Brody Nugent did not miss. As Michael Ferretto's extra point is good, he remains perfect on the year. And the Knights, with 1:14 to go in the first half, now lead at 14-7.
Joe, I'm getting goosebumps, and I know it's a little bit cold. Maybe the goosebumps are also from that, but what a thrilling first half.
Maybe mostly from that.
It very well could be, but this has been a thrilling first half, and we still have another half of football to go between these two teams.
Last week did not disappoint, and we expected more of the same here in Sayreville this week. These two teams have delivered through the first approximately 23 minutes. We're almost there. 1:14 to go in the first half, and now the Bombers get it back, and they have some time.
And I wanted to also point out, Joe, of course, this is one of the two semifinal matchups right now. We heard earlier Washington was up 17-0 in their game. So For these two teams, it could be Washington they take on in the final matchup, but that's still to speculate. We'll check that matchup later on as well.
Sure, we'll get more information on that one at halftime. If we do, we will pass that along to everyone watching, and we thank the nearly 1,500 viewers who have tuned in already. And if this game stays close, word will spread, and I'm sure we are going to have some more guests join us in our live stream on YouTube. Once again, this is PDF Sports Network coverage of Old Bridge Knights playoff football. We await kickoff with 1:14 to go here in the first half. Old Bridge in front 14-7. And on the run back, it's a pretty good one. Out across 35-yard line. Tackle was made around the 37 or the 38-yard line. That was a tie on the run back. And while we have a break with the Bombers offense taking the field, we'd like to thank the Candied Ham softball team. Candied Ham softball is a proud sponsor of Old Bridge Knights high school football. You can check out Candied Ham on Instagram at CandiedHam_official. The Candied Ham softball team, a proud sponsor of Old Bridge Knights high school football. We thank them and all of the great sponsors who make these broadcasts possible. It is a first down run for Jackson, looking for room. He finds some, and he's still going across midfield and out of bounds at the Knights' 48-yard line.
And he wisely went out of bounds on that play. And again, it was another one of those plays, Joe, that off the rip did not look like it was going to be a great one, but it turned into a 12-yard pickup. But there might have been a flag thrown.
If there was,
I think it was.
I did not see it, but they're backing it up.
There definitely was. See if I can see it on the replay.
Yeah, I definitely did not see it in live action.
Had to have been for the back judge because I don't see it right there.
Yeah, following the football, I didn't see it, so it must have come from the offensive backfield. Either way, what looked to be a dynamic play to open the drive and position for the Bombers across midfield instead becomes a 1st and 17 with under a minute to go in the half. Now, if you run the football here and you don't pick up much, you don't want to go out of bounds now. And they will run it. That play nearly blown up in the backfield, and heading out of bounds is Atta, but he did pick up a nice gain there, so you'll take that.
Yeah, it looks like about maybe 2nd and 6, I would say. Maybe 11 yards on that play.
Give him 11 on the carry.
Gain of 11 on the play.
And I think now, this for the Knights, if they can get a stop here on 2nd down, they can call a timeout, and then they're one stop away as well from maybe getting one more opportunity at the football before the first half ends.
And that's just it, Nick. The point I was making was that if you were stopped around the line of scrimmage there, it would likely be better for you if you ducked. Well, you went down inbounds and did not go out of bounds, but with an 11-yard pickup, of course.
You'll take that.
You go out of bounds and try and keep the drive going. It looked like the Knights sideline was hot. I'm not sure why.
It was about the clock.
Not sure why.
That's what the officials were talking about while they were waiting for the next play to start.
Bombers in the gun. Handoff goes to Jackson. Jackson across the 50, across the 45, and down just short of the 40.
I was going to say, Joe, Sayreville's got to start thinking about calling their timeouts.
And they have. 45 seconds to go in the first half. And the question that we had approaching halftime last week, and perhaps I didn't address it enough, was at what point would Freehold consider a field goal attempt? And I think with 45 seconds and a couple of timeouts, you're still thinking touchdown here, no question about it. But where on the field are you thinking about field goal if you're the Bombers? We don't know the answer to that question.
Not sure.
If the Knights know the answer to that question, you can defend accordingly.
I think the thing for the Knights is that right now Sayreville's getting all their yards to the ground right now. So the clock's going to run regardless if they continue to run. But does Sayreville maybe try to throw them off like we saw earlier with the passing play here and try to get some yardage that way? Again, as you mentioned, I'm not sure exactly what the yardage would have to be for them to set up for a field goal, but With still a little bit of time left and with 2 timeouts, they're still looking for that tying score to try to tie it up before halftime.
Well, they had the look earlier that resembled a double pass. If there was ever a time, Nick, I could see it in a situation like this. I think there's still too much time. But if you end up in a 3rd down, maybe a 3rd and short, could be the time. I don't think that time is now, though. Osei in motion.
Immediate flag.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to double pass if you snap it to your back.
Yeah.
False start against the Bombers.
Well, as I also thought about it earlier, Jackson, their star running back, does have a passing touchdown this season. He has a couple pass attempts this season, so he is very capable of throwing the football if needed.
And knowing that is why I make that point. And I think you're in that area of the field right now where can you run it? Yes. If you stay in bounds, you're limited in how many times you can hand the football off. I think if you're the Knights, you don't want a run to get broken for you, or against you, I should say, for a touchdown. But you have to think about making tackles in bounds as well if you get the chance. Osei will take the handoff here. He bounces it outside, cuts up field, and is tackled in bounds.
Good tackle right there. Forces the timeout.
That is a situation where I think he would have been wise to get out of bounds.
I think he was trying to, but the Knights did a good job on that sideline to prevent it from doing so.
Well, it looked like he cut it upfield short of the sideline in a position where there was no chance to get out from there. I think it was the point of no return. You make your decision. Do you go upfield or do you take it out of bounds?
Right. And now with just the 1 timeout remaining, and you could tell me, Joe, how much time exactly we have left in the half?
37.5. 2nd and 12 now, and with the ball at the 43-yard line, you're extremely limited in how many more rushing attempts you're going to have without getting out of bounds. And we've only seen in this game, I believe it was 3 pass attempts thus far, if my count is correct. 1 for 3 in the air. The completion that they had was a drive starter on the scoring drive. It went to Jackson.
2 for 3. They had the screen pass that was...
that was completed?
That was completed, yeah. They lost the yard.
Then 2 for 3.
2 for 3.
Butka back out there in the gun. Trips to the right of the formation. 1 receiver wide left.
He's going to throw.
He's looking downfield in double coverage, incomplete. And with that ball,
yeah, that's a dangerous
probably uncatchable. That is not a position that you want to see Jackson in, going up in double coverage in the Knights bench.
3rd and 12 for Sayreville.
Yeah, not an easy one. It was an uncatchable ball in bounds anyway, and he had to go up one-handed with that, and was not going to be an easy one, especially with the safety about to tackle it from behind. So big break right there that he's not hurt, but now it's 3rd and 12.
I think that was effectively a throwaway. They were hoping for one-on-one coverage there, and they did not get it with the safety help, as you referenced, Nick. So on 3rd and 12, same look in the gun. And Jackson, looking for some running room, will turn it upfield, tiptoeing the sideline. And he is down inbound, short of a 1st down.
About 3 yards shy.
We are inside of 20 seconds, clock running, and they will stop it with a timeout. 16.6 remaining.
So last timeout for Sayreville. It's 4th and 3. This is a very interesting call they have coming up right here.
It's a big one because I think points on this drive could be extremely important.
Yeah.
We know how good Michael Ferretto is. If you are the Knights and you have a chance to go up 2 possessions on a 4th down, I don't think they're going to be too aggressive there. I think they will take their 2-possession lead. If this remains a 7-point game entering the 3rd, if Sayreville was to make it a 4-point game, I think maybe the Knights would then be a bit more aggressive on a 4th down in field goal range, but we'll see if it comes to that a bit later.
So I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at the stats. Chase Barnes is the kicker for this team. He's 4 for 6 on the year. His longest field goal is 25 yards. So that explains why they're going for it.
They would have to be much closer to try that. Trips to the left this time. Butka looking, has some time, throwing downfield, broken up. And who else, Nick? It is Brody Nugent getting the hand in there on the pass breakup. Andrew Provenza, the intended receiver.
It just had to be him, Joe, to get that coverage play on that one. It was tight coverage on Provenza. Was one of their top pass catchers on the season, and he made a good play, almost maybe getting an interception on that one and forcing a turnover on downs.
11.9 to go in the half, and
they're going to need it.
If you're the Knights, I think you go quarterback kneel down.
Yeah, just take the knee, go to the half. You get the ball to start the second half.
Wouldn't it be something if Nugent faked the knee and tried to run it?
Like the Dan Marino fake spike.
But they will take the knee, and that will bring us to halftime. Old Bridge on the road for the first time in the 2025 postseason has a 7-point halftime lead. We have reached the halftime break. The Knights in front, 14-7. A message from the sponsors of Night Football. This is coverage of the NJS IAA Central Jersey Group 5 semifinal. Old Bridge over Sayreville, 14-7.
Celebrating 65 years, the Old Bridge Rebels Youth Organization is the longest-running and most successful youth organization, serving Old Bridge Township. The Rebels are the premier football and cheer organization with a long and rich history in coaching and developing our community's future leaders. Through proper guidance and leadership, the Rebels program assists the youth in developing the qualities of safe play, discipline, teamwork, fundamentals, and well-being. We will continue to focus on these goals while maintaining a strong presence in the community. Check us out at swsrebels.org.
This football season, stop by Market Boy Liquors, your hometown destination for over 20 years. Family-owned and operated, our 8,000-square-foot store features the largest beer cooler in the area, plus an unbeatable selection of wine, spirits, cigars, and craft beer. Conveniently located at 1132 Englishtown Road, Old Bridge, New Jersey, 08857, Market Boy Liquors is proud to serve our community with the best variety and friendly service. Call us today at 732-251-4616 and make Market Boy your game day headquarters.
When it comes to buying and selling a home, do it with Peter Hunt's home team, powered by Century 21. For years, Peter has dedicated his life to the real estate industry, offering help and care to all of his clients. With experience and proven results, Peter is an award-winning realtor and the top producer for Century 21 Action Plus. A resident of Old Bridge, put Peter to work at selling your home or finding the home of your dreams. Call 1-800-299-2129 or reach Peter directly at 9086-014-934.
For raising the standard in facility services and commercial cleaning look to Pritchard Industries. For over 35 years, our commitment to creating clean, healthy, and safe environments is unwavering, ensuring that your facility not only looks pristine, but also promotes well-being and productivity so your business can excel. Specializing in comprehensive commercial cleaning solutions, advanced facility services, responsible sustainable practices, and innovative technology, contact us now at pritchardindustries.com. Pritchard Industries, here for you.
At Giuseppe's Old School Italian Pizzeria, we bring you the perfect blend of tradition and flavor. Whether you're craving a classic New York-style pizza, a hearty pasta dish, or a fresh Italian hero, we've got something for everyone. Stop by, grab a slice, and taste the difference of real old-school Italian cooking right here in Old Bridge, New Jersey. Giuseppe's, located at 2581 County Road 516 in Old Bridge. Simply delicious.
At Maz Transport, we're ready to get your vacation started early with luxury airport service and your transportation needs. In fact, whether it's for corporate transport, trips to Atlantic City, a night in the city, date night, or any other need, Maz Transport is your choice for our luxury fleet to take you there in style. Call or text 732-2071-079 and let us know where you want to go, and we'll take care of the rest at Maz Transport.
At Function Forward Physical Therapy, we listen to your specific needs, utilize manual therapy techniques to decrease pain and restore mobility, emphasize customized exercise plans, and are here to assist in all your function and fitness needs. Whether it's return to work or play rehab, fitness training, or our softwave therapy program, we're here to help you get better, feel better, and live better. Function Forward Physical Therapy. Check us out today.
At MassMutual Tri-State, our financial professionals are dedicated to your financial well-being and focused on helping you achieve your financial goals. We provide expertise in crafting strategies that align with your specific needs. We offer industry-leading insurance solutions, financial planning, and wealth management tailored to support your pursuit of a financially secure future. Whether you're planning for retirement, protecting your loved ones, or growing your wealth, we're here to guide you every step of the way. So please call Rich Caruso at 732-623-5700 with any questions and to set an appointment with one of our financial professionals. Thank you. Local firms are sales offices of Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance Company, MassMutual, Springfield, Massachusetts, and are not subsidiaries of MassMutual or its affiliated companies. Securities and investment advisory services offered through qualified registered representatives of MML Investor Services, LLC. Member SIPC, 732-623-5700.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at elitespt.com or call us today to book a consultation.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy is a proud sponsor of all things Old Bridge. Go Knights and go to Bagel Boy. 2329 County Road 516 and at bagelboyonline.com.
Old Bridge students, take advantage of the Old Bridge special at Bagel Boy. 10% off all purchases with your valid student ID.
Protect your family, pets, and your wallet with Anchor Pest Control. We provide coverage for all your pest removal needs, and our all-inclusive service saves you money. We've designed our services to be both comprehensive and budget-friendly for homeowners. Plus, with our premium service, you'll get a free mosquito application. See how Anchor stacks up against the competition. Visit us, anchorpestcontrol.net, or call 888-623-2847 for information and service.
got to check out All American Ford.
All American Ford is number one.
All American Ford in Old Bridge is proudly family owned and operated, and we're the #1 Ford dealership in New Jersey.
All American Ford is the tri-state area's giant auto group. They always have the largest selection, and it's not even close. All American Ford is currently offering APR financing as low as 0%, low monthly lease specials, and thousands off MSRP.
Giant selection,
giant savings.
Go G-Men, and go All American Ford.
Shop online at allamericanfordandoldbridge.com.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 five-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
And we are back from Sayreville with about 4.5 minutes to go before the start of the third quarter, according to our venue clock anyway. But great job by the Sayreville Marching Band out there performing for the fans in attendance here at halftime. Meanwhile, Nick, it is 14-7, the Knights over the Bombers. Washington Township.
It's up 31-6.
Leading
so the winner,
31-6.
If they hold on, the winner of this game will go to Washington Township next week.
All right, Nick, so we got to look back at the game last week. And I mentioned during the first half that this Knights coaching staff, when needed, has done a great job of adjusting at halftime. You lead by 7. Your offense has played pretty well. Your defense has played pretty well. Are there any adjustments that you see that this team needs to make, or do you like what they've done so far? In terms of the good things, what stood out to you?
Well, I'll show you one of the replays right here. That was the biggest pivotal point of this first half. 4th and 13, big passing touchdown from Nugent, finding the wide open receiver down that sideline. We talked about that sluggo route. Allsburg did a great job right there to get the touchdown. What's really stood out to me really in this first half, the Knights are struggling a little bit on the rush defense, but that is to be expected. The Sayreville offense is tough to really stop with that formation that they've been running this entire night. But something the Knights have been really taking advantage of is once they get into penalty issues, they've been able to force Sayreville to get into those passing plays where Sayreville feels a little bit uncomfortable, it feels like at points at times, throwing the football. So if the Knights can figure out a way to stop the ground game and force them to throw, which we mentioned earlier on, that could be the key to the Knights' defense in the second half, getting the job done. The key thing also as well, Joe, 14-7 lead for the Knights to start the second half. It feels really important for this Knights team to go out there and at least get some type of points to start the second half and put this Sayreville team down 2 possessions to start the third quarter.
And, Nick, a great point you made. Obviously, if you're the Knights, you're looking to force the Bombers to put the ball in the air, and I think a great first step toward doing that would be to score on this drive, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal. You make it a 2-score game, and all of a sudden, that puts a bit more pressure on this Sayreville offense. And to their credit, they have found a lot of creative ways to get the ball in the hands of their ball carriers, and we've seen it pay off with the touchdown drive. They'll need that a bit more consistently. I think above that right now, they're looking for a stop on defense. And Nick, something that's come up in the live chat more than once is the clock. Nick is not in view of the venue clock. Our scoreboard is completely independent of the scoreboard in the venue. So our scoreboard is not synced with the venue scoreboard. Nick is operating our board manually. He does not have a perspective of the game clock. So we are doing our best to keep the time verbally and let everyone know where we stand, but the clock is not up on the screen for that reason. Nick simply can't see it. He has his back to the clock, and he would have to look out and around. The scoreboard is on a really tough angle. It's tough to see from the press box unless you're leaning out the window. So Nick does not have a view of the clock in the venue. That is why the clock is not displayed on the screen. But we mentioned it already, Nick. Their offense really seemed to hit another gear late in the regular season. Going into the playoffs, they were playing their best offensive football of the year. We saw a lot of dynamic plays from them both in the air and on the ground during the closing weeks of the regular season. That carried over last week. We mentioned ahead of this game that with all of the running we expected to see, that possessions would be at a premium, and the Knights have made the most of theirs so far in this game. What have you liked from Old Bridge offensively?
You have to look at what they've done in the ground game in terms of getting good blocking for Brody Nugent and company to get some rushing plays. I'm trying to find, at some point, I will find the touchdown run that Nugent had to start this game, but it's really been about the pass protection and the run protection. Nugent's been able to find some big plays. I found the rushing touchdown that started this scoring here tonight, and this is one of the big plays of this game. The double fake screen on the outsides. He goes up the middle and finds that seam. That's been really impressive about this Knights offensive line so far, that they've been able to get Nugent those running plays up the middle of the field against this Sayreville defense. And what's also really impressed me was that big play for the Knights defense before they got that go-ahead score on that fourth down play. We'll see it right here one more time, Joe. It was right now the turning point of this game, too. They go with the trickery play, that being Sayreville, and perfectly read play. Ball comes out. Knights go and get it scooped. And a few plays later on that fourth down play that we showed earlier, they would get the go-ahead score and hold on to this current 14-7 lead to start the second half.
We've said it all season long, Nick. When this Knights defense has needed the big takeaway, they have found a way to get it. When they've needed a big stop late in games, they've found a way to get it. And getting a look at that replay of the strip sack right there, I think Barkasi did punch that ball out.
He did.
It looked like the ball carrier attempting to deal a stiff arm chose the wrong player to try and stiff arm because Barkasi got that right hand in there. And I think he did punch the ball out, so credit to him for the forced fumble. He already had it on the stat sheet. We weren't sure if he actively punched it or if it came loose. Looks like he might have punched that one out. So
yeah.
A great defensive play becomes even better with a second and now maybe even a third look at it. But the clock in the venue is running down to about a minute and a half to go before the start of the third quarter. Nick, any final thoughts before we begin the second half?
I think for both sides, looking like this, I'm expecting the same type of game plan for both sides. I think if you're the Knights, you got to try to run out a lot of this clock to start the second half because not only are you limiting the positions of Sayreville, but if you get a touchdown on the drive or at least get a field goal like I mentioned earlier on, you go up 2 possessions, you put Sayreville in a spot where they're going to have to consider passing at some points, and that's what the Knights might want to try to do at some points later on in this game. They're trying to force them to throw the football, which they haven't really done a lot this season. So if you're the Knights, got to capitalize, start the second half drive to start the second half, and if you're the defense, figure out a way to stop that offense of Sayreville, trying to stop that military school type option play that we see from the military schools and the navies, the armies, the air forces. You got to find a way to not get tricked by the jet sweeps on the outside and find a way to win that battle up in the middle, which we've seen them do a lot this season, but they haven't really done it so much here tonight. If they can find a way to adjust that in the second half, which we've seen them adjust very well in second halves of these games this season, a really good shot for this Knights team to move on next week to the championship game.
And given what he did in that first half, it's hard to say that the Knights kept Sean Jackson in check. We saw a couple of really nice runs from him. And even one of the runs that ended up coming back on a hold, he made some great moves to turn that into a nice carry as well. But we know how dynamic he is. You're effectively starting over because
right.
You know they can keep it on the ground. They can get back to what we know their game plan was coming in. Run the football, pound the rock, control possession, and tire out this Old Bridge defense. If you're the Knights, getting points is critical, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal. Put the Bombers in a 2-score deficit if you're the Knights, and you have to be feeling pretty good. If you're Sayreville, it's right back to the game plan. No reason to panic and plenty of time to get back in this game.
I arguably say that this is the most important drive of the game right here for both sides.
And we are just about set for the second half kickoff. Michael Ferretto will kick for Old Bridge. I would say he's going to send it deep, but you never really know, Nick. We've seen a lot of squibs, a lot of short kicks. The Knights do whatever they can to try and negate those
surprise
returns.
onside last week, too.
I would not
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
I would not
I'm not saying to do it.
Now, Nick, we mistakenly said.
Yeah, I know.
How many times?
A lot.
Yeah, we said it way too many. Why did we think that the Knights were getting the kickoff? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Down by number 5,
Because they did get the ball first. We should have known that.
Yeah. Wow.
Bad.
We're worrying about getting all those ads in. We got cut a bit short on the ads before kickoff.
Well, let's just take back what we said to start most of the second half.
Well, if you tuned out late in the first half, you didn't hear us say it. You only heard it once instead of twice.
Still, in my opinion, it's still a very important possession regardless of what I said before. Sayreville needs to score on this drive, in my opinion. They have to score.
I don't know if we're at that point in the game yet. I don't think so. They'd like to, though, as Jackson has the handoff and tried to leap over tacklers again. He's opened himself up to a couple of those where he tries to leap over defenders and gets taken out from down low, and he's limping off, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I mentioned it earlier. You know, those tackles, when you go up, you get upended somewhat, can be very dangerous. You expose yourself to your lower body getting hit by a helmet, and now we'll have to see what his health is.
He's taking a seat on the Bombers' sideline, so they are without Jackson for at least a play here.
Still a very capable team of running the ball despite him not being on the field.
3,000 yards collectively, and getting the handoff here is Osei. Osei turns it upfield and is brought down at the 40, or make that the 35-yard line. And that will bring up third down and about 2.
Well, the reason I said that this is a must-score drive, and here's why I'm mentioning it. It's kind of what I said earlier, because if you don't score, you give the Knights the ball back with them up a touchdown in this spot, and you give them the chance to go up to 2 possessions, like I was mentioning earlier, how we expected the opposite side of the kickoff. But like I mentioned, it's really big if Sayreville can get at least some points on the drive, because you don't want to give the Knights the ball back and give them the chance to go up 2 possessions in this game.
It's a 3rd and 2. A very heavy set for the Bombers here. Wildcat. And I think
Might have been a false start.
They got hit with another false start out of this Wildcat formation. We've seen that more than once tonight. And they'll back up a 3rd and what looked to be a
7.
short 2 to a 3rd and 7.
And that's something I mentioned too also, is that some of the drives for Sayreville have been derailed by penalty yardage. And right there and then you get a big penalty that makes it, instead of you going for a run on 3rd and 2, now you have to think about what you're going to set up here on 3rd and 7. Do you go back to the run and try to get the first down that way, or do you maybe think about going through the air here to get the first down?
A big decision and a big play in this game. At the very least, if you weren't going to score on this drive, you'd like to punt out of a bit better field position than this. Jackson back in there. He was the motion man. He'll go back to where he started, once again lining up
Another
wide
flag,
of the
delay
tight
of
end
game.
with a flag out for delay of game.
They were trying to draw them off so they can make it 3rd and short again.
Delay of game penalty against
Well, now you would assume that we're going to see a pass here. Now, against this Bombers team, you never really know. But they did pass on 3rd and long early in the game. And if you're the Knights defensively, turning a 3rd and 7 into a 3rd and 12 really opens up an opportunity for that defensive line.
Turning a 3rd and 2 into a 3rd and 12 is really big, because
you
you went from a position of stopping the run on the inside on 3rd and short to now looking to try to avoid a guy like Jackson or anyone else in company to getting a pass completion for the first down.
Butka in the gun. And he will look to pass. And he delivers a strike to the 35-yard line.
It's going to be short, potentially on the spot.
Well, the line judge on that side of the field gave them the first down. Will that spot stand?
I think he's a yard short.
I thought he was short as well, but I think they gave it to him, and they will. We'll get one more look at it, and I think the Bombers benefit from a good spot there.
Yeah.
That was a strike from Butka. A good throw and a good effort to make it close, and if you make it close, you'll get that spot from time to time. Let's see on the replay.
I think, if anything, it must have been the second effort, because initially he wasn't there. He got tackled. I thought it still looked to be.
He wasn't close, Nick, but
yeah,
he was close enough. The direct snap goes to Jackson. He breaks one tackle, but not a second, as he's brought down about 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
And how many times have we said the name Justin Valinati tonight again to Joe? Great tackle right there to make it about, what, a 3 or 4 yard loss on that play.
This Knights defense doesn't miss many tackles, but if they do, there's usually a second man there, and so often that man is Justin Valinati.
One of the hearts and souls of this defense. In the biggest game of the season, makes a nice play right there. He's made a big couple plays here tonight.
It is officially a second down and about 14. They lost 4 on that one, and they'll pick up
About
maybe
a yard.
3 of that here.
Ball carried by number 2, Sherwin Apia.
I think he got maybe 2 yards back on that play.
I think they gave him about 2 or 3 yards either way, and
One on the play.
that'll bring up a 3rd and 12. And once again, Nick, it's 3rd and 12.
Yep.
They pick it up through the air on the last 3rd and long. You'd expect them to go back to the air here. See if that Knights pass rush can get home. It's been good protection up front when they've looked to throw in this game for the Bombers. Ata the motion man. Butka on the move to his right, throwing toward the sideline, incomplete. As that one skipped in short. And that will bring up 4th and 12.
Well, they were going for that rollout pass, Joe, on the right side with Ata, who was the man in motion, but it was good, perfectly covered by the Knights defense, and it forced a low throw on that play. And it now forces this Sayreville offense and their special teams unit to come out here on 4th down.
We've seen the Knights run plays like that quite often, and I think what it came down to is the Knights weren't fooled. They tried to run a man up the field and a man to the sideline underneath, and the Knights did not bite down the field. Chase Barnes to punt. That one headed for the sideline. It lands across the 40 and takes a good Sayreville bounce inside of the 35, and that is exactly where they will spot it. Old Bridge takes over from their own 35-yard line with a chance to make this a 2-score game with some points.
Can I say we feel a little bit redeemed now from what we said earlier? Because
not really.
No, but it technically from our point earlier, where now the Knights get the ball up a touchdown and now have a chance to go up 2 possessions in this game.
That was a blink and you missed it first drive.
Yeah. Both teams had that.
I'm combing through the mental memory bank. We don't have producer. We don't have a statistician on site. So it's memory, pen, paper, and notepads for us. But that drive was blink and I missed it apparently, as Nugent has a first down run and more here as he's finally forced out at midfield.
He took a big shot towards the end of that play going out of bounds. But speaking of blink and you'll miss it, that's what Brody Nugent does for this offense. Blink and you miss it, he gets the first down, just a blink of an eye.
We have an even 7 minutes on the clock here. That first possession for the Bombers went about 4.5 minutes. The Knights now with a first down from the 50. They fake the handoff to Allsbrook, and Nugent, powering through contact, is still on his feet and finally brought down.
Yeah, he got a couple extra yards with that play.
He turned what would have been a gain of maybe 1 into a gain of 3 or 4. No one can say Brody Nugent doesn't run hard. Maybe you don't want him running quite that hard.
Yeah.
The play before, he took a big hit as well. Instead of going out of bounds along the sideline, he fought for every yard.
It looks to be set up to be another run from him right here on 2nd and 7.
You take a look in the offensive backfield, and if it is Ramondi Jr. next to him, it's a good hint, but it could be Rizzo here.
Yeah.
And indeed it is Chase Rizzo with a nice cut. And a flag came in late.
Yeah, that's more than likely going to be in the spot of holding.
Yep.
Because it was right where Rizzo got tackled. If not for that tackle, Rizzo might have had the left sideline for a touchdown.
Well, he made a great first move out of the offensive backfield to cut it back inside and upfield simultaneously.
It is holding.
And indeed, it is holding against the Knights. That foul looked to have occurred a bit beyond the line of scrimmage.
It was right at the spot where he got the first down, it looked like.
So this will be a 2nd down
13.
And about 13 yards.
The 2nd and 13.
Well, you said it earlier in the game, Nick, when penalties have put the Bombers behind the sticks. That's been a really effective way of the Knights slowing them down. That really throws them off their game plan. Now the Knights have to work from behind the sticks due to penalty, and we'll see what they can do in this spot. Once again, Ramondi Jr. and Rizzo in the backfield alongside Nugent. This time they're both lined up to either side of Brody. Rizzo takes the handoff and goes nowhere.
Yeah, he lost yards on that one.
3rd and very long coming up. It looks like it's going to be a 3rd and about 15. And we've already seen the Knights convert on a 4th and long. Do they have one more in them here on 3rd and long?
It's tough. I'm it would be really tough. 16 yards you have to get on the play. Wouldn't be surprised maybe they go the screen variety here, maybe just get some yardage that even if you don't get the third down conversion, you at least give your punter an opportunity to punt the ball away and try to down Sayreville inside the 5.
Big moment in this game for both teams. The Bombers punted it to Old Bridge to begin this third quarter. The Knights looking to keep their first drive of the half alive. And Amari Allsbrook will do just that. He wins the foot race, or make that, Nick. That is the line of scrimmage. He does not get the first down. He gets close. He gets close.
And he makes it now a conversation here on 4th down.
He won the foot race to the sideline, turned it upfield, did not pick up first down yardage. It is 4th and 3, and the Knights are to the line quickly.
Yeah, look at the Sayreville defense show. They're trying to figure out the play.
I'm not sure Old Bridge was going to snap that one.
Question is, what do they draw up here? Do you go to the run with Nugent, which they've worked so many times this season? They're going to call a timeout, it looks like, to try to talk it over.
I would not go for this, Nick.
Sayreville will call the timeout.
If I'm the Knights, I would not go for this.
And
what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if anything, what you could do, here's what I would do, Joe. 4th and 3, I think I set the offense out there. I think I'm going to try to see if maybe they jump off sides and try to see if it can draw up a penalty.
And you take the penalty.
And you take the delay game and you punt the ball away after. I think that's what you do in the spot.
I agree. I think the extra room will benefit you.
I think you can risk it because, again, if you don't convert here, you're basically putting Sayreville just around the 50-yard line, and you don't want to give them that field yardage. So I think they come out here, try to draw them offside on a penalty. If they do, they get the first down. If they don't, take the delay game, punt the ball away, and as I mentioned earlier on, try to see if they can down it inside of the 5-yard line if they can.
I'm with you, Nick. I think that is the right plan here. You come out, you try and draw them off sides. If you can't, you take the penalty and punt. That being said, I think there's a good shot they go for this. A very good shot they go for it.
Yeah.
And in these situations, they've typically gotten Brody Nugent moving. Rolling out to his left, to his right. There he goes. And it is complete to a wide-open Chase Rizzo. It's a foot race. Rizzo inside the 10-5, touchdown Knights.
Joe, they lost him on that play.
They sure did. And it looked like the Bombers were ready. They had Nugent contained. He had to get the ball out quickly, but they completely lost Chase Rizzo, and he broke it up the sideline. No defender in sight. Look at how the 3 Bombers got crowded around 2 Knights. Effectively a pick play, Nick, but no pass interference. They were running pass patterns, and Rizzo did the rest. That's an easy pitch and catch, and I got the feeling they would go for it. I wouldn't have had the guts, but Matt Donahue always aggressive, and this time the aggressiveness pays off as the Knights lead it 20-7. PAT, as has been the case every time this season, is good. 21-7 the score.
What a gutsy play call the Knights just did right there, Joe. I'm going to slow it down in a second because you talked about that play where the defenders kind of jumbled in on the inside and Rizzo was able to get to the outside to get wide open. You'll see it here in just a moment. Rizzo, you'll see Nugent go to the left sideline or to his left, and you
Nick.
see it clear as day. Yeah.
Watching it back, Allsbrook was not running around.
Yeah.
You definitely could have called that one.
Yeah.
Run it back once more after this. You know, we've seen them run that a lot, and they didn't sell it quite as much on that one. You got to wind it back a bit more.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, it didn't look like he was really running away.
Yeah. You know, if they threw a flag on that, I don't know if I could have argued it. But as it stands, it's a Knights touchdown. And the 4th down play call pays off. And, Nick, you got the sense that as we knew that they would likely get Brody Nugent moving, looking for a completion on a rollout, the Bombers' defense looked privy to it as well. They were ready. They had plenty of pressure on Nugent. But on the outside, it looked like the defensive backs might not have been as aware of what was coming as the defensive line was. They'll go squib kick here. It skips into the arms of Atta. He picks it up and immediately is going to be driven backwards by a host of Old Bridge tacklers. And Sayreville will get started from around their own 25-yard line. And Nick, goes without saying, 3:32 to go in the third. This is a huge drive for the Bombers.
Yeah, this is why I mentioned earlier on, if they could have scored on that opening possession, it would have been big for them. And now they're in the spot where you're down 2 possessions. Now, more than ever, they need to score on this drive right here, because you mentioned about 3 minutes and change here left in the third quarter. And the Knights offense has done a good job tonight for the most part in running the football. So they're going to want to try to milk the clock as much as they possibly can in the next about 13 minutes.
1st and 10 Bombers. Handoff goes to Jackson. He has good blocking. He's upfield and across the 35. Tackled right around the first down marker.
I think they'll give it to him, but they will.
And they indeed will move the sticks. First down. And it looks like there was a Knight down at the end of that play.
There is. Trying to get the number.
Yeah, I think that's Noah Rios who was grabbing at his leg at the conclusion of that play. So it is a first down for Sayreville at the 38.
I believe you are right. I think it is Rios.
Didn't see anything at the conclusion of that play. It looked like he was getting set to return to position, to return to the huddle. And ended up grabbing at his leg.
Hoping maybe it's a cramp or something, nothing too serious.
Typically, when you see a player grab at the calf, that is the issue on the play, and trainers are out there attending to him right now. But Nick, the Knights defense did what they had to do to begin this third quarter. Got a stop, got the ball back in the hands of their offense, and when it's come down to situations, 3rd and long, 4th and long, we've seen it now since that Hunterdon and Central game. Plenty of times the Knights have found themselves behind the sticks. They have been completely undeterred in those spots. Allsbrook wins the foot race to the sideline, makes it a 4th and 3 instead of a 4th and long, giving them the chance to go for it. They capitalize on that chance and score the touchdown. Their 2nd touchdown of the game on 4th down. As Jackson takes another handoff here, he's across the 50, across the 40, across the 30, inside the 20, inside the 10, and finally tackled just outside of the 5-yard line.
Joe, that's one of the more impressive runs we have seen here at PDF. I want you to watch how he ran on this play. He'll get the inside handoff to start the play. He has the outside wide open. Look at the planting of the foot. 1 plant right there. 2 plants right there, another plant right there, breaks the tackle, and then lowers the helmet to get the hit and get the first down. An incredible run right there to set up 1st and goal.
You can change directions without compromising your speed. It makes it that much more dangerous as a ball carrier. And he is right back out there in the backfield. Split back formation here. Apia back there as well. Jackson takes the handoff and fights forward to about the 3 or 4 yard line, and that will bring up 2nd and goal.
2nd and goal from the 4.
And we saw this in the game against Freehold Township last week, Nick. The Knights went ahead by 14. That lead was gone in a matter of seconds. Certainly no time to get complacent if you're Old Bridge.
If you're a Knights fan, that's certainly on the back of your mind right now. Thinking about that game from last week too.
Has to be. 2:20 to go here in the third quarter. 2:20 on the clock in the third. The Bombers taking their time as they break huddle on 2nd and goal.
Looks like they're in the Wildcat again.
They are. Jackson takes the direct snap, headed for the pylon, and he's in for the touchdown.
Pretty much a walk-in touchdown right there for Jackson.
Well blocked up front by Sayreville, and Jackson is in for the Bombers' touchdown, and we have an 8-point game.
Jackson once again just doing it himself in that Wildcat formation. Great drive for him right there. Had that big run to set them up inside the goal line, and he gets the touchdown to make it now an 8-point game with the extra point pending.
They run it to the weak side. They stack the left side of that line as the PAT is up and good, and the blocking, tremendous. You said it, Nick. Effectively a walk-in for Jackson. And just moments after the Knights made this a 14-point game, Sayreville has pulled back to within 7. Our score, 21-14. Old Bridge in the lead.
And now Sayreville needs to stop more than ever here on this drive, Joe. Old Bridge, a very important drive for them in this game. Would love to get points once again to go back up double digits, but if they get stopped on this next upcoming drive, they're going to give the Bombers a chance to try to tie the game on the ensuing drive afterwards.
Just when Old Bridge jumped out to the 14-point lead last week, it was a one-play drive that was preceded by a big kick return.
And also, if I'm Old Bridge, I'm looking out for anything on this kickoff. I would, if you saw a surprise onside last week, I'd be very, very careful in watching to see what they do here.
I think that is definitely a discussion the Knights had in the meeting room at some point during the week. Because last week when the onside kick was attempted, there was not one player out there for Old Bridge that had any idea that an onside kick was heading toward them. It was way too late that they turned around, and it was more of a reaction to the crowd. And there it is, onside kick, easily secured by Valinati. He brought it into his chest, and that time, Nick, you could tell the Knights were ready.
It's a good thing they were, Joe. That was a well-executed kick, but good job by Valinati being on the hands team right there. He's made a couple big plays defensively tonight and a big special teams play right there for this Old Bridge team.
And if you look at that replay again, Nick, not one Knight turned his back to the kickoff specialist there. They all had their eyes on the football, and I think that's a product of what we saw last week, because if last week's onside kick doesn't happen, maybe that one works.
Right.
And you know the Bombers are aware that an onside kick was successful against this Knights team last week, as Nugent will keep here on first down, and he's across the 50 down at the Sayreville 49-yard line.
About a 6-yard pickup right there for Nugent. And I think it's really big for Old Bridge to get that recovery now. I think the game plan is going to be run the ball like they've been doing most of this game, try to draw some clock in this one, because you're not trying to give Sayreville a chance on their next drive to have a lot of time. Hopefully you can get some points as well in the drive and go up 2 scores once again.
Ball at the Sayreville 49-yard line as Nugent looks over toward his sideline, and now the Bombers have put some pressure on their defense here. We have about 1:15 to go in the third quarter. And the Knights don't have to go all too far to get into field goal range as Nugent is stopped at the line of scrimmage.
And once again, Joe, it was Chase Barnes, the first man point of contact for this defense. No gain in the play.
Well, that will bring up a 3rd down and 4. The Knights do have to run one more play here in the third quarter, as we are now under a minute to go in quarter number 3. Would they dare go for it again on 4th from this spot?
I wouldn't be surprised.
The Knights certainly hope they are not faced with that decision. The Sayreville defense feeling the momentum in this game, swinging in their direction, hoping to get off the field here on 3rd down. Nugent lined up in the gun. He will keep it. Nugent stopped short.
Did not get it.
Ball spotted at the Bombers' 48-yard line.
He's about 2 yards shy of that first down.
4th and 2 will open the fourth quarter. And the Knights will have a big decision to make when we come back for quarter number 4. Nick, you and I will stay right here on headset, but when the action resumes, it is time for Old Bridge to make a big decision. They went for it previously. Do you go for it here?
I do not envy Coach Matt Donahue right here, Joe. I do not envy him in the spot, because here's the problem. Right now you're at the 47-yard line here on 4th and 2. If you don't convert, you're giving Sayreville great field position on the next drive. However, you have a quarterback that you're very comfortable with in a 4th and shortage spot of running the football in. So if I'm Donahue, I think I'm going for it. I feel confident enough in my offense to get the job done in 4th and short, but it could also be what we talked about earlier on that other 4th down play. Do they maybe come out here, try to draw them off sides, and maybe get the penalty to get the first down that way? That's also a possibility as well.
They went for it before, Nick. They're going to go for it again. That would be my expectation. And it looks like they're going to line up in the order of chivalry, Nick.
How fitting.
It is 4th and about. It's a long 1, short 2.
Yeah.
And Nugent will keep it, and Nugent will lower his shoulder to pick up the first.
If there was any play to do it, Joe, it was that one. It's been working for them so much this season in terms of their in terms of the goal line package. On 4th and short, you have to use it there, and it worked perfectly.
I like the order of chivalry in that situation, Nick, because all season long in short yardage situations, teams have not been able to stop it.
Right. As I mentioned earlier in the season, it's effectively the Knights, tush push that the Eagles use in the NFL. It's a play that really no one can stop.
Nugent now in an empty shotgun set. And he will look to throw. And that's incomplete. Well short of the intended target, Aiden Rios.
Intended for number 11, Rios. 2nd and 10 for the Knights.
That will bring up a 2nd and 10. Ball now in Bombers' territory, line of scrimmage just inside the 45-yard line. But, Nick, the aggressiveness for the Knights that we've seen all season has paid off. I can't recall many 4th downs outside of the one last week in the 4th quarter where they were in that space where they probably had to go for it. And I agreed with it last week when they went for it. They didn't get it, but the defense came up with the big play, and their aggressiveness has paid off in a big way this week as Nugent will throw that one over the head of Rios. Really nowhere else for him to go with that football.
I will say I'm kind of shocked that they start this next series of downs with 2 straight passing plays. Back-to-back passes, back-to-back incompletions, now sets up 3rd and long.
Are you looking at this as 2 plays again, Nick? I think you have to, right?
I think you have to, yeah.
The way they've coached.
You got to get some type of yardage, though, to make that the case, though.
For sure, for sure.
Because if it's 4th and 8, I don't know if I would go for it in that spot.
I think there's a chance they might.
I agree. I definitely think there is a shot, but I don't know if I would do it. But that's why I'm here.
Exactly. That's why we're up here. Nugent will look to throw. Airing it out. Downfield. Osbrook. Incomplete.
No flag either on the play. It's now 4th and 10.
Great coverage there by Sherwin Apia.
But, Joe, there is a flag, though, at midfield.
A late one.
It's going to be holding on the Knights.
Do you accept this?
I don't think I would.
That's a big decision for Mark Poor. I know the live chat will have their opinions. Are you accepting this holding, live chat?
I don't think I would. I think the Knights are just going to punt the ball away, Joe. I don't think you could risk it on 4th and 10.
I wouldn't accept it. I would force them to make a decision because anything can happen.
Right.
We've already seen it. 4th and 13, they scored a touchdown.
Right.
Number 14, Andrew Provenza.
So it's a 4th and 10. Nugent is the punter. So keep that in mind as well. If they give him the opening, he could throw, but
he's throwing.
He is complete.
Wow.
They had no room on the sideline. It looked like Nugent was going to kick it, and instead he delivers a strike to Griffin Nugent. 1st down, Old Bridge. Incredible. Well, Nick, maybe they should have accepted the holding.
I guess hindsight.
What do we know?
Hindsight is 2020,
hindsight
Joe.
Is 2020. I wouldn't have accepted it. I would have forced them to make a decision, and they came out in punt formation.
These are some of the gutsiest calls I've ever seen in a football game. Matt Donahue is doing tonight. We watch a lot of the NFL. We see the Lions do this a lot, where they go for a 4th down a lot. I can't recall someone doing it this much in terms of 4th and 10s like that.
Matt Donahue has pushed all the right buttons tonight, Nick. And now Old Bridge with it. Inside the 35. Nugent will keep on 1st down. And somehow was able to get back to the line of scrimmage and pick up a yard.
I thought for sure he lost 2 yards on that play. He gets at least a yard.
2nd and 9 for Old Bridge.
2nd and 9 for the Knights now.
And this has got to be frustrating for Sayreville. Meanwhile, Joe, they've had them twice on 4th down. They've not been able to get the stop.
4th and 13, touchdown. 4th and 3, touchdown. 4th and 10, fake punt pass, converted. The story of this game, Nick, has been 4th down.
Yeah.
Empty shotgun backfield. Nugent hit immediately, and he crumpled up in a very awkward position there.
Number 54, Brian Zangrillo.
Doesn't look like he got anything on that play either.
Well, they made him pay on that carry. Old Bridge now facing a 3rd and 8. Empty shotgun backfield once again. Nugent will look to throw. And that is picked off! Intercepted inside the 30. Nugent is the lone man to beat. Nugent will not have a play, and to the house goes Joseph Corbello. Touchdown, Bombers!
Wow. Joe, you have to look at the coverage on this play when we have a second. Unbelievable, perfectly read right there. And this game is now an extra point away from being tied. We'll get a look right here. I mentioned it. Corbello perfectly read this play. They're looking for Rizzo on that outside route. He read it perfectly, and there was not a night in sight. Only Nugent was there to make the play, and he had no chance as there was a way of blockers right there to get the touchdown and now make it an extra point away from being a tie score.
We mentioned how rare the mistakes have been for Brody Nugent. That is a big one in that spot, and you said it, Nick. Tremendous coverage by Corbello on that play as the PAT will tie the score. 9:33 to go, and we're all knotted up at 21, Nick. This matchup has lived up to the billing. The Sayreville defense coming up with a huge play, and they needed it, especially after the Knights kept the drive alive with the fake punt conversion on 4th down.
And just moments before that, I was saying how disheartening it had to be for that defense. Multiple times in this game, not able to get that 4th down stop. Now their spirits are back up after that play. A monster defensive play for this team to tie the game at 21. And now it's a brand new ball game once again. Anything is up for grabs here late in the 4th quarter.
You're the Knights now, 9:33 to go. You're getting the ball back in a tie game. How hard is it to regroup from a play like that?
Very hard. It's gonna linger for a little bit. I think if you're the Knights, you gotta go to what's been your bread and butter most of the season. They gotta go back to the running game, get the yardage that way, because Sayreville was able to stop them on the first 2 plays before that pick 6 and force that interception. So now, if you're the Knights, can you get back the yardage you got earlier in the ground game and try to get down the field and take back the lead?
They had the single coverage look, and it's a great play by Corbello to jump that route. Rizzo breaking to the outside, had some room, but it was a well-read pattern, and that one's off the fingertips of Chase Rizzo and out of bounds at the 13-yard line.
Could have been worse, but
it could have been worse for sure. It could have been worse, but all of a sudden, momentum firmly on the side of the Bombers, the home crowd behind them, the visiting spectators on the sideline of Old Bridge, stunned right now.
Yeah.
A Brody Nugent interception is not something that we've seen much at all this year.
It's been rare.
I don't know if you have the stat sheet in front of you, Nick. I think the final tally was 2. I think it was 18-2 coming into the week.
I believe you are right, but I can look it up real quick.
I want to say 18-2 touchdowns to interceptions coming into the week, but you can correct me once you pull that up.
15-3.
All right, so I was not that close. Was it 18 rushing touchdowns?
Very possible.
Nugent fakes the handoff and keeps up the middle.
Got about a yard on that play. But we've seen now Sayreville in the last couple plays, Joe. They're starting to adjust to the running on the inside for Old Bridge. They're stopping them a lot more on the inside runs, as we do have a Sayreville player down on the field right now.
Looks like it could be another cramping situation here, but
at least you hope it is.
Yeah, I think that's usually the best case when you have a player go down.
And a game like this where there's so many high emotions, everyone's wanting to put out 100% effort right now. You're going to see that a lot as this game goes on the next couple minutes. But, wow, we have been treated to last week you yourself got treated to a great game, and we're getting treated to another great one here tonight.
We had the true skeleton crew last week.
Yeah.
We had the 3-man operation. I was the only one in the booth last week. We had the game moved from the typical Friday to Saturday, and we had 2 events going on here on PDF. So I was over there alone. You and I here with Pat up on the roof today. Still a 3-man crew tonight. We don't have the 3rd engineering member, and typically they'd have a lot of information for us on the side as well. Much easier to balance all of that when you have that 3rd crew member, but boy, has this been a good game, Nick.
Yeah.
And we still have over 9 minutes remaining. Knights offense back out there, 2nd and 9. Rizzo sent in motion to the outside. Nugent now in trouble. Will throw it away, and again, Nick.
Yeah.
That didn't reach the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it did not. Yep, there it is.
That's the right call.
The question is, though, Joe, where was he on the play?
I don't think he was in the end zone.
Was he at the 1-yard line?
He was very close.
From the end zone.
I think they marked him right at the 1.
I think he was at the 1, Nick. Yeah, he's at the 1.
I mean,
Wow.
we have. I mentioned it. We talked about a couple times this season how Old Bridge's defense has been able to adjust in terms of, getting the good defense in the second half. Sayreville's defense, outside of the 1 touchdown they gave up on that 4th down play, they have adjusted so well to this offense for the Knights. And now, 3rd in a very long 22 about yards, the Knights really can't do much in this spot.
Well, we saw them in a situation where they had 1 play before halftime to get out of the end zone, and they got safety. They have to get out of the end zone here. Nugent will throw. Complete over the middle and tackled around the 15 or 16-yard line was Cam Olivencia. But you'll take that if you're the Knights, because at the very least, it gives your punter some breathing room. You don't have to punt it from your own end zone and tighten that window where you snap the football from the 1 and move your punter up to the end zone. We've seen it before where teams get caught in that position and snap it straight through the end zone inadvertently.
And Joe, I'll show you the replay again after this punt, but I noticed something on that play for the Knights.
Santos with a punt.
Very high one.
A lot of air on it, and it bounces inside of the Old Bridge 40 where it is down by the Knights. So great starting field position for Sayreville. Nick, let's go back to what you were going to point out on that last
So we'll see right here. Nugent's going to throw the ball. They have 2 receivers in that same spot. I'm wondering if the catch is not made by Olivencia, could Rizzo have caught that ball, maybe gotten a couple extra yards? They were in the exact same spot.
That was a very awkward-looking play. It's almost as if they set that up for Rizzo to be a lead blocker, but I can't imagine that was the play design. You had 2 receivers running right on top of each other. And when you do that, and you're the quarterback, it makes it easier to cover, and then you don't get that ball out, and all of a sudden you're trailing in this game 23-21.
Because Rizzo had a couple extra yards on Olivencia, and he could have maybe got it close to the 1st down.
Handoff goes to Jackson. He makes a man miss. He's
got
breaking
open
it
field.
back to the near side. He's in the open field, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown.
Joe, he's done it again, and you'll see it again in a few short moments. He plants his foot again. He found the right side of the field. There was not many Knight defenders on that side of the field, and this game has changed in the blink of an eye that quickly. A 21-7 lead is now lost. It's a 27-21 lead for the Bombers.
It looked like he was caught in a mass of bodies. He breaks it back to the near sideline, into the open field, and into the end zone for 6. Sean Jackson continues his fantastic season.
Unbelievable.
And I think it's safe to say, Nick, as that PAT is
no good.
No good.
Oh, man.
Nearly blocked and no good, wide to the left. So,
and if the Knights can get a touchdown, Joe, they are an extra point away from taking the lead.
Ferretto has been automatic on PATs this year, so you have to feel pretty good if you're the Knights and you can score. 7:57 to go now. Sayreville in front by 6. But, Nick, the point I was about to make, I think it's safe to say that Sean Jackson is very quickly approaching 2,000 yards rushing.
I was going to make the same point because we don't have the tally.
He's not there yet.
He had 1,700 coming into the night. He's got to be close.
Well,
he has to be near. He has to be.
I had him at near 1,800. He was close to 1,800, wasn't he?
1761 going into the night.
Okay, so he was closer to 18 than 17. I don't think he has 250.
You don't think he has 200 yards?
I don't think he has 250.
But 200's there.
Well, he picked up 40 on that one. On one drive, I think he had. He's closing in on 200 for sure. I don't think he's quite there.
Okay.
But he is closing in.
And there's still a lot of game left. He could
sure is.
He could certainly get it.
He needs one drive and he could get it.
Yeah.
At this rate. One more run like that, he might be there.
And a flag on the kickoff. A false start. Or off start. Yeah.
We've said
Offside.
it. We've said it more than once already this season. On the rare occasions where Old Bridge has been put in tough spots and been playing from behind, this team has shown resilience. They're not completely untested.
Right.
There have been a lot of lopsided scores, but you forget, in games like the Edison game, they trailed in that game.
Right.
And in the game against Freehold, they trailed, albeit by just a point early, a bit more later. It was 14-7 in that game before they tied it. But this team has played from behind before, not quite on this stage, and we'll see if they have a comeback in them now as Rizzo on a good run back is across the 30, across the 40, and out of bounds around midfield.
And remember, I talked about it earlier. They were down up 21-7. I mentioned it. You don't want to have that score from last week linger where you had the two-possession lead and it was lost. Fortunately, it's been lost again here tonight, but a nice kickoff return right there sets you up almost around plus territory where a touchdown and extra point give you back the lead.
7:47 to go as this drive gets started. And we cautioned, Nick, when the Knights were leading 21-7. They were leading by 2 scores last week as well. It was 31-17. That got away in under 2 minutes, and it took just 2 offensive plays. That last drive, just a couple of plays. Nugent throwing over the middle through the hands of Allsbrook, incomplete.
And they can't afford to have that right now, Joe. Allsbrook wide open, just right off of the hands. They have to have that catch right there.
Now, Nick, was that last drive 1 play or 2?
1.
So 1 play drive strikes again against Old Bridge. When you get a second, Nick, I just need you to do a quick sound check with that AirPod of yours on the live stream. The Knights come out now on 2nd and 10, had a chance for a nice pickup on 1st down with Allsbrook open over the middle. Rizzo, the motion man, pre-snap. And again, Allsbrook gets a chance, and again, it is a dropped pass over the middle. Interesting to see the Knights come out and throw it on back-to-back plays, and both times it ends up through the hands of Amari Allsbrook.
Yeah, the audio should be fine. I haven't heard anything.
Just wanted you to run that check. We had a mention of it in the live chat. Well, now it's 3rd and 10. The Knights have been aggressive all night. They still have 7:38 on the clock. And we'll see if they consider this 4-down territory. They've been extremely aggressive tonight. If they can get some of this, Nick, I think they go for it. 3rd and 10. Nugent will keep it. And the flag is out as Nugent is in the open field. And this one might be coming back.
I think it's going to be holding. It was immedately thrown.
Yep.
It is holding. It was immediately thrown as he was about to make his run up the middle. That's a backbreaker right there because now it makes it 3rd and about 20.
All right, so, Nick, I'm being told our audio is cutting in and out at times. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm going to keep an eye on the readings here.
Okay.
In terms of the reading, everything looks good, which would make it something on the YouTube end of things.
Yeah,
but I'll monitor more closely.
I didn't hear anything a few moments ago when I listened in. So
yeah, we have a monitor that shows our levels displayed on a screen, So if we were to see that nothing is registering in terms of levels, we would know there's a problem. But if there is no issue with our reading, it would be on the YouTube end. All right, we're being told the audio is fine from a lot. Without the third man being the engineer to monitor this stuff, you have a man with a headset on trying to monitor everything. So that will bring up a 3rd down and 20. And it's an early snap. Nugent was not ready. Nugent, rolling to his left, is forced to throw it away.
It just seems like everything is unraveling right now for this Old Bridge team, Joe. You mentioned it, a quick snap that was not ready for Nugent. He had to just make some type of a play, and he basically throws it away. 4th and 20. They're going to have to punt. They have no choice.
Certainly no choice but to punt it here. And you would think that they're going to send Santos out there to punt as well, so no option to throw it. Not that they would on 3rd and 20, or 4th and 20, I should say. But
they need good yardage on this punt right here.
This game has completely swung in the direction of Sayreville during a stretch of about 8 minutes. And there's a good punt. The Knights hoping for a good bounce. They won't get it. And it comes to rest at the 35-yard line. That's where the Bombers will get started. And a score here certainly could put this game away in the closing minutes.
Yeah, and the Knights really need to stop right here, Joe, at this point, because they're down 6. A field goal will still do the trick for Sayreville. That puts them up 2 possessions. So they need to stop more than ever. The biggest defensive drive of the season right here for this Old Bridge defensive unit.
And I think something you mentioned earlier comes into play as well. Not sure we'll even see a field goal attempt under any circumstances, but you mentioned the season long for the Bombers is only 25 yards. Sayreville in the gun. Jackson takes the handoff, patiently waiting for his blocks to develop, and he is across the 40 and down just past the Sayreville 45. That is good for a 1st down.
And Joe, you'll see it here. There was not a lot of players on that side. That's why I was very confused by the Knights standing up on that play. You'll notice in just a second, not many Knights on that right side of the field, and that led to Jackson having a lot of grass to get that 1st down marker.
And not only is he an explosive runner, he's a patient runner, and you can see that, Nick. Waiting for those blocks to develop. If he tries to bounce that out too quickly, there are going to be some Knights there waiting for him. He allowed the blocking to develop, showed off that speed, took it up the sideline, and picked up a 1st. He now lines up in the Wildcat. Osei the motion man, and again
on that same play.
Yeah, the Wildcat has seen no fewer than 3 flags, maybe even 4 come out against Sayreville. And the 5-yard penalty will back the Bombers up into a 1st and 15.
Well, if I'm the Knights, they've taken advantage of a couple penalties tonight. They need to take advantage of this more than ever.
We're under 6 minutes to go as the clock winds down to 5:45 remaining in the 4th quarter. And we made the point earlier, Nick, all season long, this Knights defense has come up with big stops when this team has needed it. They need one more than ever right now.
Watch the jet sweep.
And it does go to Jackson on the sweep. The Knights are there to meet him. He breaks 1 tackle, but not a second. And that is a big loss on the play as Michael Kavas comes in to make the tackle.
And the Knights are actually grateful that he broke that 1st tackle a point, because that awarded them a couple of extra yards in terms of the loss on the play. It's now 2nd and about 22 on this one.
Knights defense has pushed the Bombers all the way back inside of their own 35. This drive began at the Sayreville 35. And as you said, Nick, it is now 2nd and 22. They'll fake the handoff up the middle and hand it to Osei. He looks to cut it upfield and is stopped after a gain of 2 yards to the 35-yard line. 3rd and 20 coming up. And, Nick, we're at the point now where you're under 4.5 minutes remaining. You're leading by just 6. Do you try and throw for it here, or do you let your defense try and close the game out?
I think they go screen or something here on 3rd and 20. Just get some yards, let the clock keep running. You can't afford an incompletion in the spot to stop the clock. You realistically could think about running the ball, too. You just got to keep the clock running if you're Sayreville.
4 minutes to go. 3rd and 20 for Sayreville. They line up in the gun. Jackson will take the handoff. He finds some running room, but not much there. It's a gain of 2.
And the Knights, I think, could call a timeout.
They have stopped the clock, that's for sure. At least that was the signal.
Timeout Knights.
And Old Bridge has taken timeout with 3:41 remaining.
And that's exactly why they ran the ball there, Joe, because they wanted to force the Knights to call the timeout. So the job was accomplished. Even though they didn't get the first, they forced the Knights to call one of their last 3 timeouts. Now they're down to 2 remaining. But now if you're the Knights, you have a chance to take back the lead here on this upcoming drive. It's a big stop. And again, it's once again for Sayreville, a drive derailed by a penalty on that false start.
When they've gotten behind the sticks, it's been tough to recover. And we mentioned it before the start of the 4th quarter and about at the midway point of the 3rd before the Bombers came surging back. Up until that point where Old Bridge was leading 21-7, the story of the game had been 4th down. And if the Knights come up short in this game, the story is going to be a dramatic turnaround in this game late in the 3rd quarter. Sean Jackson offensively took the game over for the Bombers as they'll punt it here. Barnes sends it to the 35, and a run back for Allsbrook. We'll see him take it across midfield.
Allsbrook with the punt return, tackle made by number 55.
Great starting field position for the Knights as their drive will begin with 3:32 remaining. But Nick, as I was saying, Jackson took it over for Sayreville offensively, and it seemed like as their offense picked it up, their defense responded.
Yeah. And that's sometimes all it needs to take. Once your offense gets things going, they spark that defensive unit to get something going as well. And that pick 6 has really sparked this Sayreville comeback. And now it's a huge drive right here. This could be the Knights' last drive of the season if they don't get points right here. They need to find a way to score a touchdown on this drive.
All right, Nick, do you think you can handle a live clock for 3:32?
I could try.
Let's try it. I'll give you the time after each play.
Okay.
You do your best, I'll give you the time. Nugent lined up in the gun. Rizzo in motion. Rizzo on the completion with blocking is across the 40 and out of bounds. Pickup of about 9, and they keep the clock running following that completion as Rizzo was forced out right at the 40-yard line.
I've got to try at least. I've done clock before in my high school days, so.
Well, you are right on the money right now. So I will help you out if you need it. I'll be sure to call it out after each play.
The question is, Joe, how much time do the Knights take on this drive? Because I know they want to get the score, but you also want to get Sayreville back the ball.
I don't think you can worry too much about the clock now. You have to get into the red zone. As Nugent will keep it and pick up the first down.
Nugent with the quarterback keep. Tackle made by number 7, Chase Barnes.
Barnes on the tackle. 1st and 10, Old Bridge at the 36-yard line. We are behind the Sayreville spectators, and this is as quiet as it's been in quite some time. Everybody on the edge of their seats. Nugent in an empty shotgun backfield. Allsbrook the motion man. Nugent to throw. Running out of time. Airing it out. Allsbrook has it. Out of bounds inside of the 15-yard line. And now, Nick, you're at that point.
Now you can start thinking about it.
You're at that point where you can start to take some clock with you. And the good news for Old Bridge in this scenario, you can pick up a first down at about the 3 or 4 yard line. So if you're the Knights, keep that in mind as well. You can pick up a first down, and at that point, you might leave Sayreville with no timeouts.
Well, we're looking at on the clock right now, Joe. I have stopped at 2:10. I'm assuming it started running after?
2:18.
2:18, okay.
2:18.
All right, so it's a little bit ahead.
It is stopped at 2:18 right now. Rizzo takes the handoff, looking for room and won't find any.
Handoff to 26, Rizzo. Tackle made by number 54, Brian Zangrillo.
So Sayreville, did they take timeout following that last play, Nick?
I'm not going to lie, Joe. I didn't hear what the question was because of the ban.
Did Sayreville take a timeout?
Not that I saw.
Yeah, they have 2 remaining, and they took one earlier in the half, correct?
They did, yes.
Right. Nugent once again in an empty shotgun set. Motion man Rios. Nugent rolling left. Pressure coming. Throwing. End zone! Caught! Amari Allsbrook for the touchdown!
And Joe, how big is that for Allsbrook? He had a couple big drops earlier in this half. That has to feel good. He got that big conversion earlier in this drive. He now has the game-tying touchdown here late in the fourth quarter. The Knights are an extra point away from taking the lead.
The pressure got there, and Nugent delivered a strike in the face of it. Amari Allsbrook coming across the goal line makes the grab for the game-tying Knights touchdown.
An all-important extra point right here.
Michael Ferretto on for what would be a go-ahead PAT. Good snap, good hold. It was nearly blocked, and Ferretto delivers. How close was that, Nick?
Very close.
Very, very close. Let's get one more look at that slow down.
And while I look at that, Joe, you can tell me exactly how much time we have left, too, in this game.
You are perfect at 1:33.
The best.
Look how close this was. Wow. In disbelief was Adrian Cecil on that play. He got in, got 2 hands up in front of the football, and could not get a piece.
And keep in mind, Joe, even though they gave up the touchdown, you are down by a point. You have 2 timeouts, 1:33 remaining. You're still in a good spot if you're safe. It's not over yet, obviously, but we've talked about their field goal kicking this season. They haven't kicked much. They've only had 6 attempts on the season, and their longest field goal is 25 yards. So they need to get into the primest of territories to set themselves up for a potential game winner.
Well, Nick, before what could be an incredible final 93 seconds, I want to thank our audience. This is now the most viewed live broadcast in the history of the PDF Sports Network.
Unbelievable.
Over 1,000 concurrent live viewers. We thank everyone who was tuned in tonight.
They're getting treated to an unbelievable game.
1:33 to go. And Ferretto sends a squib kick inside of the 30. It is scooped up there by Atta. And he is driven backwards by a host of Old Bridge tacklers. Sayreville will take over at their own 32-yard line. And Nick, we mentioned it coming in on the season. They had attempted just 67 passes. Pass attempts have been few and far between tonight. You have 2 timeouts.
I still think they run the ball.
I think they try to run it at some point, but if the Knights know that and stop you behind the line of scrimmage, force you into using your last timeout, you're in a really difficult position.
You have Jackson in the backfield.
I think you try and get it in his hands, but not running. They'll fake the handoff. Butker rolling to his right, will complete, have to get out of bounds here. And a flag comes in late.
We'll see what the flag is.
Stepped out of bounds. Flag on the
Provenza made the grab and got out of bounds, but an ineligible man downfield is the call.
Another big penalty late in this game. How much time, Joe? Because I forgot to start the clock to start that play.
We are at 120. 120.
So a couple seconds off.
That one hurts.
5-yard penalty, 1st and 15 for Sayreville.
1st and 15. You picked up a few there and stopped the clock. I think that would have gone for a gain of maybe 5 or 6. You'll take that getting out of bounds.
Yeah.
Instead now, it is 1st and 15. And like I said, Nick, I think you have to find a way to get the ball in Jackson's hands through the air. Give him a chance to make a play after the catch. Butka, with time running out, is wrapped up and sacked. Michael Kavas wrestles him down back at the 21-yard line, and Sayreville will be forced to call timeout.
Wow, this defense, Joe, stepping up in the biggest spot of the season, getting another big pressure play and getting the sack. And once again, it's a penalty that starts the drive for Sayreville that really haunts them because it leads to the sack in here and now makes it second and very long after this timeout.
A huge play by this Old Bridge defense once again as Kavas gets in for the big sack. 1:13 remaining. 1:13 on the clock when Sayreville called timeout.
It's about second. I'm trying to get the yardage. I would say
it is second and 22.
22 again.
Maybe 21, but I think they've spotted at the 20, so it is second and 22.
They have it spotted at the 21. It's just inside that 20-yard line. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You're right. It is at the 20. I looked at the ball. I didn't look at the ball. I looked at the pylon on the outside, or the chains.
Yeah, ball at the 20-yard line. It is a second down and 22. Season on the line for the Bombers. The Knights defense hoping for one final stop to clinch it. Butka under pressure. Throws to a wide-open man. It's Apia. Apia racing up the sideline, cuts inside, and he stays in bounds, but the clock will stop with the first down pickup.
It was one that we saw earlier, Joe, that crossing route where they lost him. This time the Knights lost him. First down, and the clock will now start running again.
The clock begins to run. We are inside of a minute. Nick, you are right on the money at 55 seconds. Butka rolling to his right, throwing downfield short of his intended target. Curbello, the intended receiver.
Second down for Sayreville.
Man, oh man.
That gives you a chance to catch your breath. If you're both of these teams,
I need to catch my breath just doing engineering right now.
Gives you and I a chance to regroup up here in the booth. It is second and 10. Ball at the Old Bridge 47. Sayreville with one timeout and 49 seconds. So, Nick, we're about 2 seconds off. 49 seconds. If you're the Knights, you have to put that second and 22 play behind you.
Yeah.
Could it come down to a field goal, Nick?
It might.
Butka throwing high and nearly picked off. It was through the hands of his intended target and nearly picked. I believe it was Endaz who was down on the turf. A lot of phones out now, a lot of live streaming in the crowd, and that definitely impacts our connection. Butka throwing deep downfield. It's picked off.
Joe, a flag, though, comes out.
But a flag flies in the secondary.
I think that might go.
And they are pointing in the direction of Sayreville, but that might be indicating possession of the ball for Old Bridge. So hold on a second. Make sure you capture that replay, Nick.
I have it. Holding
on the Knights.
On the defense, yeah.
Everyone in the stadium reduced to silence awaiting that call. And the indication from the official, as we didn't catch.
Yeah, we didn't catch the part of it, but I saw it for a split second before that on the play. That's a rough one for the Knights. They had the game right there on the interception. Instead, how much time left now, Joe?
38.8, so 38. Make it 39 seconds. As the Bombers have hurried to the line, the Knights got caught with an extra man on the field. They got him off in time. Butka throwing deep downfield, but well beyond the field of play, out of bounds. And the Knights barely got a 12th man off the field there, Nick.
Whew.
And coming off a play where there was a penalty and a long discussion, you can't get caught with 12 men there.
You can't. And keep in mind, they have 2 timeouts, so they could have.
They could have.
They could have just called the timeout to avoid that happening. But they also are thinking that we need to save them, maybe, just, God forbid. But they're right now 30, or that being Sayreville, they're 37 yards away from the game-winning score. But, of course, they're also thinking about a potential field goal depending on what spot you can get it to the field.
Where would they kick from is the big question. Would they kick? Trips to the right, Butka in the gun, screen pass, Jackson complete. And Jackson
not out of bounds.
Brought down shy of the 35, inbounds.
And a timeout's called by Sayreville immediately.
Timeout called with 25.1 remaining. That is the final timeout for the Bombers.
So close at 24. But enough about me. Big play right there by the Knights defense to get that tackle because it forced them to use that final timeout. So now all Sayreville can really do is they can get a first down and they have to get quickly to the ball and spike it, or they have to get something to the outside to try to stop the clock that way.
Well, keep in mind you have the advantage of the stopped clock after the first down.
Right, which is why if you could spike the ball afterwards, that would be big.
I think you're looking at a situation, Nick, where if you don't pick up a first down, you have to get out of bounds, or you need 2 plays called in this huddle.
Yeah.
Because you, of course, cannot spike it on 4th down.
And
if you pick up the first, then you can spike it and get in what would very likely be your last offensive play call of the game, if there is time for that.
I really thought also that they were going to do it the double pass again on that play for Jackson. I
know?
thought for sure they were going to do it there.
They have time for 2 plays, Nick, but they have to pick up a first here to avoid having to rush on what would be a final play of the game on 4th. Butka running out of time.
He's got the open field. What a
down
tackle!
he goes.
They can't spike it. They gotta
They have to go. Final seconds. 13, 12, 11. Sayreville back to the line.
Season right here for both of these teams.
Season on the line. 4th and 11. Butka looking downfield, throwing. Incomplete, broken up at the 10-yard line. And Old Bridge is headed to the NJSIAA Central Jersey Group 5 Championship game.
And Joe, well, here's going to be the replay of the final 2 plays. We're going to see the tail end of the second to last play on that great defensive tackle right there. I believe that was 52 maybe on the tackle. I couldn't check the number quickly in time on that play. But we'll then see right here afterwards, it's going to be 4th and a mile. They have to go for it. Season on the line for both of these teams. Great coverage on that sideline. Thankfully for the Knights, they didn't get a pass interference called on that play because they wanted to give them that untimed down. And Old Bridge, as you mentioned, is moving on. What a game.
A tremendous game here in Sayreville sees the Knights survive. And Nick, it came down in the end to a missed PAT. Yeah. That was the difference ultimately on the scoreboard.
We said it at the time. That could be the play of the day.
Michael Ferretto has been perfect on PATs all year. He kept that alive tonight. And once again, Nick, the Knights showing off that resilience when called upon. The defense got the big stop. The offense then came through with the go-ahead score. And one last time, the defense sent back out there with the game on the line, with the season very much on the line for Old Bridge, and they got the big stop. They were pushed back into their own end of the field, but they tighten up. They get the sack on 3rd down, or at the very least, they got a tackle that forced the clock to continue running.
It was Zach Florio. I saw it. He was the one on the tackle, and that was a big play because he had the open field on the left side. He could have gotten a first down and gotten out of bounds and stopped the clock. If Florio doesn't make the shoestring tackle, that could really hurt the Knights right there. Instead, he makes the tackle, keeps the clock running, forces them to throw it on 4th down, and ends the game and ends Sayreville's season and sends the Knights to the championship game.
Well, Nick, unfortunately for you and I, this is the end of the line in terms of our coverage of Old Bridge Knights High School football. Whether or not PDF is there next week, I would say 50-50. It depends on what coverage is being arranged for that game, but as for you and I, we are booked all through next weekend. You and I will not be there. We'd love to, but for you and I, it's the end of the line. And for the Knights, still very important football left to be played in the NJSIAA Central Jersey Group 5 championship game. Washington Township had a very big lead in their game. We would presume that barring a huge comeback in a game that was 31-6, that would be the opponent. Old Bridge will travel on the road for that one, assuming that is, of course, the matchup. We're looking at a game either next Friday or Saturday. I'd love it if they played Thursday because then I'm available.
Right.
But we thank everyone again for tuning in. The largest live audience in the history of the PDF Sports Network. Over 1,200 concurrent viewers at one point. Over 5,000 for the broadcast. We hope everyone enjoyed these two teams putting on a great show. My name has been Joe Foreman, alongside Nicholas Bavona. Once again, our final score, Old Bridge over Sayreville, 28-27. We hope to be there here on PDF next week as the Knights head to the NJSIAA Central Jersey Group 5 championship game. Barring a late comeback, their opponent will be Washington Township. If that game is not on PDF, it will be live streamed, so be sure to check that out and support the Knights. We thank all of the Old Bridge fans for their support all season long, and thank you to all of the Sayreville fans who tuned in. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, and thanks for watching.